Integrated into every type of crime they investigate. Heather Peterson, KSL News Radio.
That voice cloning tech might be more convincing than you think. Here's KSL News Radio's Reagan Edelman.
We always think we wouldn't fall for these types of scams, but they can be effective. I wanted to see how good AI was at replicating my voice, so I found a website, recorded a 6-second prompt, and it spit this back out at me.
Welcome back, friend. It's always a joy to share these heartfelt conversations with you.
I never said that. It modeled my voice after just 6 seconds of audio. The debate over voice cloning came under the spotlight earlier this month when NPR's former Morning Edition host David Green said he was suing Google for stealing his voice.
We tried to fight it. We tried to get a lawyer. But it's like they said, AI. We don't have rights.
That sound from a story published by NPR last week, pulled from a podcast hosted by a Google AI bot. Green says that the platform used his voice as a model without his permission. For context, here's Green's real voice.
So I checked it out myself after getting those messages and just had this really strange experience.
Tossing it back to AI here.
Reagan Edelman, KSL News Radio.
It's kind of wild. Utah's creating a new task force to combat the dangers of AI. They're calling it the Pro-Human AI Task Force.
So what we wanted to do here in Utah is say we are going to define our own path for AI, and it is going to be pro-human. Some of the most virulent anxiety is really about being replaced. Is it going to replace me? And so with pro-human AI, we're saying we are going to roll this out in our state with human-guided values.
That's Utah Commerce Director Margaret Bussey, who's co-chair of the task force. She tells Inside Sources they're going to have a hand in how AI is used in the workforce, schools, public safety, and more. KSL News Time 4:03. Our top national story, a group of Democrats have accused the Justice Department of purposefully withholding sections of the Epstein files that reference President Trump. One of those records are tied to a woman who accused the president of sexual assault when she was about 14 years old.
It's unclear what exactly is in these withheld records and why they were withheld in the first place. Trump has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing and knowledge of Epstein's crimes. In a social media post, the DOJ said the committee Democrats were misleading the public, writing that all required documents have been produced unless a document falls within one of the following categories: duplicates, privileged, or part of an ongoing federal investigation. Oversight Democrats, though, are pledging their own inquiry into this matter.
ABC's Jay O'Brien reporting. The president's nominee for Surgeon General was questioned by a Senate committee today. Lawmakers had a lot of questions about Dr. Casey Means and her experience as a physician, specifically when it comes to vaccines and autism.
Some have been scared to vaccinate their children because they've been told incorrectly that vaccines cause autism. Do you believe that vaccines, whether individually or collectively, contribute to autism?
Senator Cassidy, you're a physician, I'm a physician. The reality is that we have an autism crisis that's increasing.
Dr. Means has repeatedly expressed her support for Health Secretary RFK Jr. and his vaccination policies. KSL News Time 4:05, a measles outbreak at the high school state wrestling championship has prompted Utah Valley University to issue a health alert this week. The assistant director of the Utah High School Activities Association, Brennan Jackson, says there are protocols in place to protect wrestlers from diseases, but this situation was unusual.
The unique thing about measles is that there are different stages of contagiousness that require sometimes time. They may have a slight fever and then a rash that develops over time.
Jackson says they're working closely with the health department and were able to notify schools involved in the tournament about the situation. KSL News Time 4:05. It's time for First Look Traffic. Ricky Meese is here. What's going on?
A KSL listener texting in a traffic tip about a disabled vehicle southbound on I-215 approaching the 201 exit ramp, blocking traffic and in the right lane, and you also have emergency crews at the scene, so you could see some delays. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
They're talking about this pipeline again up on Utah's Capitol Hill. But wait a minute, the story is coming up. My Minute of News is on the way.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
If you've ever experienced running out of hot water before your shower was done, or hard water spots on dishes and fixtures, I've got a deal you might be interested in. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and you probably already know that a tankless water heater and a water softener solve both issues. If you've ever thought about looking into getting a tankless water heater, here's the deal I was talking about. Through the end of February, we're including a free water softener with every new tankless water heater we install. The best part of this deal might be that you never have to worry about being the last one to the shower again, or that you don't have to waste the money keeping 40 to 50 gallons of water hot 24/7. To take advantage of this deal, call Any Hour Services before the end of February. The visit's free and there's no obligation to buy. If you decide to have us install a new tankless water heater, we'll throw in the water softener for free. That's right, a free water softener when you purchase a tankless water heater. Pick up the phone and call Any Hour Services right now for all the details. 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
This is My Minute of News, brought to you by Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air, anyhourservices.com. So there's this proposal that everybody in Utah hears about. We all kind of take it half seriously, swish it around in our heads, and then say, nah, that's ridiculous. You've heard this idea. Build a gigantic pipe to California, suck salt water out of the Pacific, refill the Great Salt Lake. We want to like this idea because it's a simple concept. Pipe, suck, problem solved. But sadly, the devil is in the details. It'll cost $1 gazillion billion. Maybe the federal government will pay for it, but pushing the water over the mountains would cause, what did we hear today? 200,000 cars worth of pollution. And there's the one problem nobody talks about. This pipe will suck ocean life out of the Pacific. Whales won't fit through the pipe, but tiny organisms would come through and be introduced into Utah. Maybe they'll make the seagulls sick, kill the brine shrimp. We have no idea. So let's heed this advice.
Chasing waterfalls. Please stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to.
And there's something else nobody's talking about. Let's get serious here for a second. A lot of Utahns have always suspected there must be something in the water in California that makes the place so crazy. Scientists have never disproven this, so I ask, what if liberalism there is in the water? We're going to turn on this bathtub tap, refill the lake, and suddenly people will be screaming for a 12% state income tax. Come winter, the lake effect snow would literally bury Utah in liberal snowflakes falling from the sky. Next thing you know, everybody's changing their pronouns. Antifa is on every street corner, so maybe, I'm looking at you, state legislature, we better get busy conserving more water.
Jeff Caplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
This is Emergency Traffic. We're brought to you by UCCU. Up to $500 for loan transfers. Love where you bank. So, Ricky, what's going on?
It's a new crash, Jeff, northbound I-15 near 2100 South. All traffic on the main flow of northbound I-15 approaching the I-80-201 junction temporarily stopped and held back so they can get all of these vehicles involved moved off the roadway. And they're struggling to get them moved off the freeway at this time. And that's why we have a parking lot that's growing on southbound I-15 already past 33rd South, almost to 3500 South. So be patient. They're going to try to let you get through just as soon as possible, and they can open up some lanes. But again, expect delays. Southbound I-15 slowdowns waiting for you from Murray, 45th South to about 90th South. Again, as you're approaching 114th South in Draper, and clear on the east side freeways of I-215 and I-80. All major roadways up north. There's only one spot that's seen some heavy and slow traffic. That's southbound I-15 in Clearfield due to an accident at the exit ramp, blocking blocking left lanes at 7th South. Eric?
The Rams from I-80 to go south on the 215 westbound, both of those, eastbound, westbound, are clogged up. That's through the construction zone. And then it remains slow as you head down past California, at least on the northbound side. That looks okay on the westbound right now. Southbound slowing, though, over on Bangerter and Mountain View Corridor approaching 35th South. And you've got slowdowns both directions on the 201 highway heading over to 7200 West in Magna. If you're looking at Utah County traffic, looks good on the freeway right now from Lehigh all the way down to Santa Quin. Looking for a dose of love, laughter, and a little bit of magic? Try out a bubbly romantic comedy at the Opera. Donizetti's The Elixir of Love, March 7th through 15th at the Capitol Theater. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Highs warmed all the way into the low 60s this Wednesday afternoon. We do expect them to back down a touch on Thursday with highs in the mid to upper 50s after starting off very mild near 40 degrees. Now Thursday morning we'll keep an isolated shower chance, best in the higher elevations. Outside of that, morning clouds will clear and we'll have mostly sunny skies in the afternoon. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Devin Mishuli.
We are perched at 61 degrees. Coming up in just a few moments, we'll go to court. Day 3 of the Corey Richens murder trial. Stay with us. We're streaming live on the KSL News Radio app. You can listen on your phone. This is Utah's news, traffic, and weather station. 12 minutes after 4 o'clock.
Looking back on when I was a little nappy-headed boy. Then my only worry.
You know, it's the attention to detail, the things that completely escape you that make dinner at Ruth's Chris so special. For instance, when you call for a reservation, right? They're going to ask you if it's a special occasion, which they will honor with glittering confetti awaiting you atop the tablecloth. At the end, they'll decorate your dessert for the occasion. And your entree, how's this for special? A broiler that seals in the flavor of your steak at precisely 1800 degrees. No matter how you order it, it's your choice. I go medium well on the filet. Maybe you want the rare cowboy ribeye, no matter what, if it's dripping in butter or covered in melted and lightly crusted blue cheese or even smothered in amazing seafood, the flavor of that perfectly seasoned steak is going to be spellbinding. Best steak I've ever had there in downtown Salt Lake, and you'll find Ruth's Chris at the award-winning Hotel Park City. I love Ruth's Chris. You will too.
Many people worry they're not making the right investment choices inside their 401ks. Did you know that you might have a little-known opportunity to add some additional investment choices to your 401k and get the help and recommendations you've been looking for? This exciting feature is called a self-directed brokerage window. And the best part? The money still stays within your 401k. Learn how the trusted advisors at Capital Wealth may be able to expand your investment portfolio. To learn more, call or text the word VISIT to 801-877-9800 or go to CapitalWealth401k.com. Improving your 401k might mean the difference of retiring a few years earlier. Let's find out. Schedule your no-cost 15-minute consultation with the Capital Wealth team today. Call or text the word VISIT to 801-877-9800 or go to CapitalWealth401k.com. Advisory services offered through Capital Wealth Advisors, LLC, a state of Utah registered investment advisor.
Glad you're listening. KSL News Time, 4:15. The 3 things that you need to know this hour. First,
Police warn that criminals are now using AI to recreate children's voices and convince parents they've been kidnapped in order to get ransom money. This happened recently to a parent in Lehigh. I'm KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson.
second, a now deleted X post from a Utah College Republican leader calls for deporting undocumented children, and it's paired with a well-known Star Wars scene involving the killing of a young character. The post is drawing backlash from some state leaders. Third, our biggest traffic trouble spot.
It's emergency traffic on northbound I-15. They have released traffic, but only in the right lanes, as this crash on northbound I-15 2100 south blocking 2 left lanes of traffic. You have stopped delays back past 3900 south. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
From the mid to upper 50s on Thursday, highs will jump into the low 60s Friday and hold through the weekend. I'm Devin Mishuli.
61 at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Now, our top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The Cuban embassy in the U.S. announcing Cuban border guards fired on a U.S. registered speedboat that entered Cuba's territorial waters today, killing 4 and injuring 6 others. Vice President J.D. Vance says he was briefed, and the White House is monitoring the situation, but says they don't have a whole lot of details yet, but say no Navy or Coast Guard involvement. ABC's Louis Martinez has more.
Someone aboard the speedboat fired at the personnel aboard the Cuban craft, and they returned fire. And what we now know, based on what the Cubans are saying, is that 4 people aboard the speedboat were killed and that 6 others were injured and have been brought back to Cuba for medical treatment.
A Senate committee held a confirmation hearing today for Surgeon General nominee Dr. Casey Means. The wellness influencer and ally of HHS Secretary RFK Jr. does not have her medical license. ABC's Christian Cordero has more.
She has more or less aligned herself with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And as this role that she very likely would step into as the nation's top doctor, she would have a lot of influence and a lot of say. And so she's really trying to hit home this kind of revised stance, if you will, that she believes wholeheartedly in vaccines, but some of her previous comments do contradict that.
Former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers announcing he's resigning from Harvard University due to the ongoing fallout over ties to Jeffrey Epstein.
Amid the ongoing fallout for his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, former Harvard University President Larry Summers announced on Wednesday that he would resign from his academic and faculty appointments at Harvard at the end of the school year. Summers has been on leave since November, when he said he was deeply ashamed about his years-long relationship with Epstein. Peter Haralambous, ABC News.
Tomorrow, the House Oversight Committee hears from former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, and on Friday, former President Bill Clinton in the House investigation into Epstein. You're listening to ABC News.
KSL News Time, 4:18. Day 3 of the Corey Richins trial began with a review of evidence, and then it came to a sudden stop. KSL TV's Shelby Lofton was in the courthouse and has details on what happened.
Court was in session for just under an hour today. The judge excused everyone just before 11. He said there was an emergency on his schedule. In the short time the jury was seated, we heard from that crime scene technician, Chelsea Gibson, who went over the evidence yesterday. To recap, Gibson did a 3D scan of the Richins home a little bit over 1 month after Eric died there. When Gibson was doing a thorough search, she found THC gummies throughout the house. She also found prescription medication, including a bottle prescribed to Corey for quetiapine, which is an antipsychotic. In the kitchen, Gibson found 2 other objects. Worth noting here, Gibson did not search the kitchen the day Eric died. The defense said on day 1 that 2 Moscow Mules Corey and Eric drank were left sitting in the sink, and the nanny put them in the dishwasher the next day. What Gibson did find was a set of tweezers and a small piece of plastic.
It's a pair of tweezers that was located inside of a jacket pocket that was laying on the kitchen counter. It was a woman's fitted black, medium-size Under Armour jacket.
Not much was established during Gibson's testimony today. The judge says we'll pick things back up tomorrow morning at 8:30. In Summit County, Shelby Lofton, KSL 5 News.
Emergency traffic on KSL were brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.44% on savings at UCCU.com. Here's Ricky Meese.
I have 2 left lanes of traffic blocked northbound I-15 with a multiple vehicle crash. And this is near 2100 South. Actually, 3 left lanes now. Only 2 right lanes of traffic getting by if you're headed northbound on I-15. We do have a parking lot, and I hate to say that, so heads on a swivel. Watch all the vehicles around you. Be very careful and expect solid delays as you're passing 4500 South up to the I-80-201 junction. Southbound I-15 slow between 1300 and 2100 South. More of your typical delays from Murray into Sandy. If you're traveling any of the major roadways in Davis or Weber counties, seeing a really good drive on the freeway as well as your main secondaries with 1 spot of slowing southbound Highway 89 going towards the I-84 junction. Eric?
Heading out from the U of U campus, you got southbound slowdowns, Foothill Drive, Wacara Way, all the way down to 1700 South and westbound slowing from the south end of campus over to 1300 East. Down in Utah County, I-15 is at a good rate of speed. We're just seeing a touch of slowing now going between 500 East and American Fork and the Pleasant Grove Boulevard exit. We'll see if that turns into something more. And you've got your usual delays westbound, 2100 north from I-15 over to to 3600 West en route to Redwood Road. Elevate your dining at the Roof. Now serving lunch and dinner. Enjoy city views and cozy favorites like signature steak, pork, or salmon entrees. Visit theroofslc.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Your 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Kevin Eubank is here. And I swear the calendar says it's February.
The calendar does say it's February, but you're right. We've been to 63 in Salt Lake City. That's only 5 off the record of 68. It's been around since 1950, and we've got more 60s coming. Now tonight, skies go partly cloudy and a low of 39, partly cloudy and 58 for the high on Thursday. Back to 60 on Friday, 62 Saturday, a little south wind Saturday into Sunday, and that'll keep us in the low 60s ahead of a storm that'll bring in some valley rain for our Monday. Not a big storm. Little valley rain, a little mountain snow, temperatures upper 50s through the first of the week, back to the low 60s by Wednesday. Hello, March.
Yeah, 10 months till Christmas. All I can say. 59 in Salt Lake City. Thanks, Kevin. KSL News Time, 422.
Amanda, I've been taught to begin with the end in mind. And when it comes to something like weight loss, that's really, really important because some weight loss plans have no end. It's like another refill or another bill or another year. But soda weight loss has a finish line.
You learn it once, you use it forever. And I'm all about health. I mean, I don't want to have my body become addicted to another drug that I have to take forever in order to be healthy. I want the opposite of that. I want fewer medications. I want my body to learn how to do this on its own and be strong.
For so many weight loss drugs, you have to just take them forever in order to maintain that feeling when you cross the finish line.
Yeah.
When I hit 70 pounds that I let go of in 5 months, what an amazing feeling. And it was amazing to know I could just go forward from this point.
You can talk to a nutritionist and ask all your questions at 866-800-SODA.
Or you can go to sotaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Because at SOTA, join us for a short time to have results that last a lifetime.
You may not think about Great Salt Lake, but it's affecting your life every day. It brings lake effect snow and epic powder days. It supports thousands of jobs that keep Utah thriving. It provides a haven for millions of birds. And it keeps our air cleaner and our summers cooler. It also could affect your home's value, your kids' asthma, your morning run, your powder days, your future. Without a healthy lake, we face toxic dust storms full of mercury and arsenic, along with higher health costs, fewer jobs, and lower home values. This isn't just an environmental issue, it's personal. The lake affects you. Now, it's your turn to affect the lake, because our lives depend on our lake. Act now at growgsl.org.
Jackson Hewitt knows taxes are complicated, and with multiple jobs and tax forms, they're like Sonata complicated. Our no surprise pricing keeps things simple. Jackson Hewitt does your taxes for only $149 or less. And since we know all the new tax codes, you could get thousands back. So what are you waiting for? Hurry. File with Jackson Hewitt today for only $149 or less, guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-290-7100. That's 800-290-7100.
We're watching Utah's money after Paramount made its highest bid yet, attempting to take over Warner Brothers. Netflix stock had its best day in more than a year, up 5%. Netflix investors apparently think Warner Brothers is more trouble than it's worth. Samsung unveiled new Galaxy smartphones today. The biggest challenge, making enough of them given the global memory chip shortage. The cheapest Galaxy S26 is going to cost $1,300. On Wall Street today, the Dow was up 308 points. It closed at 49,482. The S&P picked up 56 points, and the Nasdaq jumped 288. KSL News Time 426. More than 7 months after deadly floods swept through central Texas, a new early warning system is being installed in Flash Flood Alley.
As the waters rose up around his RV on July 4th.
I've been scared in my life, but I've never been that scared.
And Donnie Russell served in Vietnam.
I said, man, I'm about to go.
Now the county where Russell lives has gotten a $1 million state grant, says Burnett County Judge Brian Wilson.
And that $1 million includes the ability to put in sirens.
At least 137 people died in the Independence Day flood, including some of Donnie Russell's neighbors.
To be able to be warned ahead of time like that, that's life-saving.
Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you can choose the best coverage option for you. Because you know you. Like, you know that hiking isn't for you. Sure, it sounds nice to be in nature while exercising, but that's what a gym and houseplants are for. I mean, you don't even like walking upstairs. So why would you walk up a hill for miles? To what, end up high in the air? Come on, you know you're scared of heights. Only you know you. So get coverage options within your budget with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Jackson Hewitt handles your taxes and your stress. Inhale our no surprise price of $149 or less. Exhale, paying more for complicated taxes. You won't. Inhale new tax law knowledge. Exhale, missing out on your biggest refund. Certainly not. Don't miss paying $149 or less. Rest easy. Jackson Hewitt's got your taxes. Guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
Some of the most meaningful jewelry you own isn't new. It's inherited. A ring from a grandmother. A necklace tucked away in a drawer. Pieces full of memories, but no longer your style. Duke's Jeweler specializes in reimagining family heirlooms into custom pieces you'll actually wear and love. Duke's on-site jewelers and designers work with you one-on-one to honor the original story while creating something fresh, modern, and uniquely yours. From resetting diamonds into new engagement rings to transforming multiple heirloom pieces into one stunning design. Every project is crafted with care, precision, and intention. Don't let meaningful jewelry sit unused. Let it live on beautifully. Visit Duke's Jewelers on Main Street in Springville or online at dukesjewelers.com. Duke's Jewelers, where old stories become new treasures. dukesjewelers.com.
This is Emergency Traffic. Listen up. We're brought to you by UCCU. Up to $500 for loan transfers. Love where you bank. Ricky, all yours.
We have a mess of problems, and we're going to start on the northbound side of I-15, where a crash right about 2100 south is still blocking left and center lanes of travel. You're still going to see slow and go and stop and go delays between 53rd south up to the I-80 junction clear. After that, all the way to Lagoon. Eric?
Got a southbound crash in Murray now, approaching 5300 south. You got 3 lanes blocked off, the 2 far left lanes plus the HOV lane, and that's going to cause significant slowing as you head down to, into the middle of Salt Lake County. For past that, looks pretty good through Utah County. Just a touch of slowing approaching Pleasant Grove Boulevard. The Great Salt Lake is drying up, but you still have time to make a difference. Visit growgsl.org to learn more about how you can help save the lake. I'm Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Well, our storm delivered. Valleys picked up a half inch to 3/4 of an inch of rain, in the mountains, anywhere from 6 to 10 inches of snow. Tonight, partly cloudy skies with a low of 39, upper 50s and partly cloudy on Thursday, low 60s return for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll get a 30% chance of some rain on Sunday, and then another chance for valley rain into Monday. From the KSO Weather Center, I'm Kevin Eubank.
And right now in Ogden, 58 degrees. It's 60 in Provo, down in St. George. Fair skies, 73 degrees.
You're listening to Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM
and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon, 4:30 at KSL. Jeff Caplan here. We're at 59 in Salt Lake City. KSL's top story, the fight to save the Great Salt Lake is playing out both locally and nationally today.
Our lake is under attack. What do we do?
A group of kids rallying at the state capitol this afternoon, and President Trump wants the same thing, a better future for the lake. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera joins us live from Capitol Hill with the story. Eric.
Jeff, inside the Capitol this afternoon, students are making their voices heard, calling on lawmakers to move forward with SB 250, a bill aimed at strengthening protections and funding for the Great Salt Lake at the tune of $200 million. They're backed by environmental groups and Senator Nate Bluin, arguing that time is running short this session. But while that push is happening here at home, state leaders are also looking beyond Utah. Governor Spencer Cox says his team is drafting a formal proposal for the Trump administration, a potential request that could total around $1 billion to help restore and stabilize the lake. KSL.com reporter Carter Williams has more.
That could go toward a lot of different things, whether it's, you have the types of projects we've seen already, like these types of water share agreements and leases, things of that nature. Ag optimization, reducing the consumption of water that goes to the lake, things like that, or it could be wide-scale projects that involve multiple states.
Any federal funding would still need congressional approval, and details of that proposal are still being finalized. So whether it's pressure from youth advocates here or funding talks in Washington, the Great Salt Lake remains at the center of the conversation. Live, Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
Thanks, Eric. KSL News Time, 4:32. The same council that voted to close a bunch of daycares in Salt Lake County is now encouraging private businesses to take them over.
The council chair says the idea is to lease the buildings to private daycare companies or nonprofit organizations.
We think this is a win-win. It's a win for taxpayers who won't be the ones paying for it. It's a win for getting more child care spaces out there.
Amy Winter-Newton tells Inside Sources they would encourage these providers to prioritize low-income families.
I think it's a disservice for the council chair to come in and act like the only people who are struggling right now, the only people who need assistance right now are lower income populations.
Jefferson Curtis with Utah Works for Families also disagrees with shifting the burden of paying for daycare to the families, saying it should be provided by the government. Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time, 4:33. Our top national story. Cuba's government says its military killed 4 people aboard an American speedboat after they allegedly approached the Cuban shore and began shooting its soldiers. Here's News Nation's Kelly Meyer.
We're hearing more reaction on X, including from the Florida Attorney General, saying this, quote, "I've directed the Office of Statewide Prosecution to work with our federal, state, and law enforcement partners to begin an investigation. The Cuban government cannot be trusted, and we will do everything in our power to hold these communists accountable." We also are hearing from Republican Florida Congressman Carlos Gimenez saying he is also calling for an immediate investigation. He also says he has requested additional details from the State Department as well as the U.S. military.
Cuba says the boat was registered in Florida. Iran's president says he's feeling good ahead of negotiations with the U.S. this week. This follows President Trump's comments last night, ramping up the pressure on Iran to end its nuclear program. ABC News correspondent Patrick Reevell with the latest.
Iran responded to President Trump's comments in the State of the Union pretty fierily, saying that he was lying, saying it's all part of a big lie. But, going into these talks, Iran has repeatedly said that it will not ever seek to have a nuclear weapon. Its foreign minister has said that. They say they do, though, want to have a peaceful nuclear program, to have nuclear power, and that they will not give that up.
At the same time, Iranian state TV released a video showing the Revolutionary Guard holding military drills. Well, we polled our Instagram followers about the president's State of the Union address last night. Interesting, 722 people responded to this unscientific poll. 24% of people, about 1 out of 4, liked his speech. 29% did not, but the highest percentage, 43%, said they didn't watch. KSL News Time, 4:35. KSL Sports tonight, the Utah Mammoth take on the Colorado Avalanche, and home to play with the team, Captain Clayton Keller, fresh off his gold medal victory.
We'll see how he does tonight. I'm sure he's jet lagged. I'm sure he's tired. We talked to him this afternoon, and he said, the last few days have been a lot of fun, but they've been crazy, and there hasn't been much sleep. But he's a hockey player. He deals with this kind of schedule all the time.
That's KSL Sports Mammoth insider Cole Bagley, and a little bit more about Clayton Keller with My Minute of News. It's coming up in just a few minutes. First, We have First Look Traffic. Ricky Meese is here. Emergency traffic, Ricky.
Emergency traffic. I-15 struggling today. You've got multiple crashes both sides of the freeway. One of our latest emergency crews blocking all lanes of traffic due to a crash on the collector ramp to southbound I-15 to 2100 South. One vehicle went into the barrier, a hard hit there. And then further south, the crash on southbound I-15 in Murray approaching 53rd South has been moved out of lanes of travel over to the shoulder. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
436 at KSL.
Amy Cox did something smart. She saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. And with that money, she decided to treat herself to an anti-aging red light mask. Will she look like a horror movie villain every night? Yes. Will her boyfriend Kevin be scarred for life? That's certainly a risk. But it's Amy's savings, and if she's willing to risk her relationship for smooth, wrinkle-free skin, well, bye-bye, Kevin. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Need life insurance but have diabetes, high blood pressure, or on anxiety meds? If you're a 50-year-old male, even porky, or with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of life insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. For affordable term life insurance, call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1225. 800-777-1225 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. 800-777-1225.
The company you work for just froze your pension. Now what? Should you take the lump sum or monthly payments? What happens to your spouse if something happens to you? And how does this impact your Social Security benefits? If you're like most people, you have more questions than answers. But here's the bigger problem right now. If you make a wrong decision here, it could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars in retirement. That's why you need to know all of your options so you can make the right decision for you and your family. Boss Retirement Solutions, right here in Utah, offers a free, comprehensive pension review for individuals with $300,000 or more in retirement savings. Call 801-896-9622 for your free analysis now. That's 801-896-9622. 801-896-9622.
Advisory services offered through Boss Retirement Advisors, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products and services offered through Boss Retirement Solutions.
This is My Minute of News, brought to you by Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air, anyhourservices.com. It was a shrewd decision, a smart decision. When your approval rating is low, surround yourself with winners. The parade of heroes who burst through the door or struggled to stand up or rose with pride during last night's State of the Union address seemed endless. During the hour and 40-minute speech, the president awarded 6 medals, including 2 Purple Hearts, a Legion of Merit award, all deserved. But the biggest honor went to the guy with the almost miraculous kick save in the Team USA hockey triumph. As applause rained down from both sides of the aisle, the president told the Team USA goalie he gets the nation's highest honor,
the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
And while the speech started to feel like, you get a medal, the captain of the Utah Mammoth was not at the State of the Union. Clayton Keller flew back to Utah yesterday as the president basked in the reflected glory of others. The perfect antidote to an approval rating in the 40s. Trump knows that people love a winner. He said so, yelling it so loud it blew out your TV speakers.
You're going to win bigger than ever, and to prove that point, here with us tonight.
The president also talked about how great the economy is doing. He told us Americans are doing better than ever. He called Democrats crazy, and a few of them took the bait. Congressman Al Green thrown out again this year for brandishing a sign that read, "Black people aren't apes." Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, the squad member from Renee Good's congressional district in Minnesota, shouted, "You have killed Americans."
In many cases, drug lords.
A lot of Democrats boycotted the speech. Others walked out. Just as many Americans watching the speech changed the channel or went to bed, because an hour and 40 minutes is a long, long time. In fact, the longest speech to Congress in recorded history.
And God bless America.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
Emergency traffic on KSL were brought to you by UCCU. Direct deposit gets you $300. Love where you bank. Here's Ricky Meese.
Crews are still working to clear the earlier accident that started at all northbound I-15 near 2100 South. We had left lanes blocked, and that is why we have heavy delays stretching back to 5300 South with some slow and go and stop and go speeds in that mix. And then on the southbound side of I-15, it's not an easy drive either. We have delays from downtown to 2100 South with emergency crews blocking all lanes of traffic at the collector ramp to southbound I-15 at 2100 South, where a vehicle went hard into the left barrier. It's facing the wrong direction. We'll keep you posted as to when that ramp will be open, but for now, you need to avoid it altogether. Even if you're past that, you're still going to see heavy and slow traffic with some real delays near Murray as you go from 33rd South to Midvale and in spots, Sandy and Draper. If you're on any of the major roadways up to the north, whether it's I-15 or the main secondaries in Davis and Weber County, you're actually in pretty good shape. Eric?
Southbound 215, the westbound, heading from just before 700 north down to I-80 and down towards California. All of that is slow, and the ramps to go from I-80 southbound on the westbound, that's typically slowed through the construction zone. Southbound Bankett are also slow. California Avenue down to 35th South and Mountain View Corridor, likewise typical slowing going to 35th South. If you're in Utah County, southbound, just some brake tapping between American Fork and Pleasant Grove Boulevard. On the northbound side coming out of Utah County, you got slowdowns just before the Bluffdale exit heading up towards the Bangeter exit. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Well, our storm delivered, but now it's moving out. Partly cloudy skies overnight with a low of 39, 58 and partly cloudy on Thursday. Back to the low 60s on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in northern Utah. Southern Utah up near 80 degrees with sunshine. Oh, wow. We will get some valley rain and mountain snow Sunday into Monday across northern Utah, but temperatures stay mild. From the KSO Weather Center, I'm Kevin Eubank.
59 degrees. We've been to 63 this afternoon. Mini motorcycles are causing maximum concern on Utah's Capitol Hill. Stay with us. The story's coming up. We're streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com. We're on the KSL News Radio app. This is Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Give me a word, give me a sign. Show me where to look, tell me what will I find? What will I find? Lay me on the ground and fly me in the sky.
I thought about weight loss injections, but that's $3,000 to $5,000 a year, and you have to keep taking the shots to maintain the results. And something you don't realize, research shows a significant portion of the weight lost comes from muscle, which can slow your metabolism and make it harder to keep the weight off. At SLC Fat Loss, they take a different approach. Their doctor-developed program helps men and women lose 20 to 40 pounds in just 60 days, safely and naturally. No injections, no synthetic hormones, no long-term dependence. I lost 32 pounds in 6 short weeks, eating real food to reset my metabolism, to control hunger and cravings naturally. I lost fat, not muscle. Thousands of clients trust SLC Fat Loss for real, lasting results. So schedule a free 15-minute consultation on the phone to see if it's right for you. There's no pressure, but if you want a safe, affordable alternative to weight loss injections, go to slcfatloss.com. Keep the weight off for good. slcfatloss.com.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
KSL News Time 445. The three things you need to know this hour first.
The Salt Lake County Council is considering a proposal to keep some daycare centers open and shift the burden of paying for them away from taxpayers. I'm KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff.
Second, some Utah students are rallying at the Capitol for Great Salt Lake protections. At the same time, Salt Lake state leaders prepare a formal billion-dollar funding proposal for the Trump administration. Third, our biggest traffic trouble spot.
We do have a collector ramp closed to traffic due to a nasty accident. This is at the ramp 2, southbound I-15 at 2100 South. You need to avoid this spot and take an alternate route. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Our storm delivered, but now it's going to dry out and get warmer. I'm Kevin Eubank.
57 at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios now. Our top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. 4 people are dead, 6 others injured, according to the Cuba embassy in the U.S. after a Florida-registered boat entered Cuban waters today, and the people were shot by Cuban authorities after opening fire. Speaking in St. Kitts while on a Caribbean community summit, Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the U.S. is still trying to verify the information that's coming out of Cuba.
Suffice it to say, it is highly unusual to see shootouts in open sea like that. It's not something that happens every day. It's something, frankly, that hasn't happened with Cuba in a very long time.
Vice President J.D. Vance also says he's been briefed by Rubio on what they know. Iran's shadow fleet now facing new U.S. sanctions. It comes ahead of tomorrow's next round of talks between the U.S. and Iran on a possible nuclear deal. At the same time, the U.S. continues to build up military forces in the Middle East. Another round of snow today in parts of the Northeast as residents and airlines try to recover from this week's major winter storm. This is ABC News.
KSL News Time 447. A group of Utah lawmakers have signed off on a proposal to make the rules and laws related to motorcycles apply to mini motorcycles. KSL News Radio's Adam Small explains.
These mini motorcycles are sometimes called mini bikes or pocket bikes, but to be clear, these are not e-bikes. One police officer told a committee of lawmakers today they're seeing a lot of kids way too young to legally drive a car or motorcycle, causing property damage and getting hurt riding these mini motorcycles. State Representative Ashley Matthews is the bill sponsor.
They're not licensed drivers and they haven't been through driver's ed. They don't know, traffic laws and they're quite frankly, just a little bit immature.
If passed, this bill would treat mini motorcycles exactly like full-size motorcycles, so if an officer encountered a young kid riding one on a state road, they could impound the bike and talk to the kid's parents. A House committee gave the proposal a unanimous thumbs up today. It'll now head to the full House. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
A developmentally disabled man had to be rushed into surgery after police say he was hit by a guy driving a truck in South Salt Lake. The driver didn't stick around. KSL News Radio's Cameron Elliott with the story.
Police say 27-year-old Ivan Gomez was driving a truck with an attached trailer when he swerved onto a sidewalk while turning and hit a man waiting for the light on his bicycle. According to eyewitnesses, the truck then drove away without stopping or the driver getting out to check what caused the jolt.
Gomez has been booked into jail, suggesting that he may face a felony charge. In Arizona, there was major law enforcement at the home of Nancy Guthrie earlier today. A major presence. News Nation's Brian Enton here.
What was really interesting is one of the SUVs with dark tinted windows, you couldn't even see inside, went into Nancy's garage. They opened the garage door, the SUV went in, they closed the garage door. They were all inside for about an hour, and then everybody left, and the SUV that was inside the garage, they opened the door, pulled out. We tried to see who was inside. We couldn't see because the windows were so heavily tinted. But I just hadn't seen that before where they, specifically had one SUV go into the garage, almost to intentionally, it seemed, make sure we didn't know who was inside.
There was also an extensive search of the property. It's unknown if anything was found. Emergency traffic on KSL were brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.44% on savings at UCCU.com. Here's Ricky Meese.
I-15 has turned into a mess for the afternoon drive. The first car crash occurred on the northbound side of I-15 involving multiple vehicles. And I wouldn't call it debris, but fluid from the vehicles, and now that has to be mopped up. Northbound I-15, 2100 south, left lane still blocked, and we still have heavy slow and go and stop and go speeds into Murray. And then on the southbound side of I-15, multiple crashes, one at the collector ramp to southbound I-15, 2100 south has that ramp completely blocked off to traffic. Another accident southbound I-15, 53rd south, blocking a left lane, and then one at the south interchange. So here's what the southbound drive looks like. Slow from North Temple with delays going to 2100 south. Another patch of slowing 3900 south to 53rd and Murray, and then spots of slowing southbound I-15 between the south interchange into Draper. Eric?
Eastbound I-80 next to the airport, south end of the airport, pretty slow. Bangor Highway over to the 215 westbound. It's those transition ramps from I-80 to go south on the westbound through the construction zone that are really bottling things up. Down in Utah County, I-15 looks pretty good right now. No real problems, no major delays from Point of the Mountain down to Provo and beyond. Southbound slowing Mountain View corridor as you go from 2100 north, though, heading down to SR 73. Step aboard history, walk through recreations, see real artifacts, and feel the legacy of Titanic the Exhibition. Open now at the shops at Southtown in Sandy. Tickets at thetitanicexhibition.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast starts off very mild. Today's temperature's been in the low 60s. We'll go to the upper 50s on Thursday under partly cloudy skies, and then back to the 60s for Friday, Saturday. Temperatures in southern Utah will be pushing 80 degrees by the weekend with sunshine. It looks very warm. The next storm will come into northern Utah Sunday into Monday. Valley rain and mountain snow. Temperatures stay mild in the upper 50s. From the KSO Weather Center, I'm Kevin Eubank.
Your 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. 57 degrees. We'll check the markets in a moment.
Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News, only on KSL News Radio.
Take this pink ribbon off my eyes. I'm exposed, and it's no big surprise. Don't you think I know exactly where I stand? This world is forcing me to hold your hand, 'cause I'm just a girl.
I have some good news for you today. Pay attention, pull over, whatever. American Home Loans has lowered their mortgage rates to only 5.5% on 30-year loans and 4 3/4 for 15 years. Yes, 5.5% fixed. But wait, what if rates go down again? No problem. Once you're a customer with American Home Loans, you don't have to worry about paying closing costs every time you refinance. That's right. Every time rates drop by 0.25% or more, they'll refinance you at no cost to you. Zero, zilch, nada. For details, call 801-262-2221. 262-2221. So now you can purchase a home or refinance at only 5.5% on 30 years and 4 3/4 on 15 years. And then if rates drop later, you can refinance at no cost to you. Call American Home Loans at 801-262-2221, 262-2221, or go to AmericanHomeLoans.com. AmericanHomeLoans.com. NMLS 245422, APR 5.8 30-year and 5% 15-year. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. You know I love to talk about shopping at NPS, a nice place to save. And it's fun to talk about all the treasures and the unique things that are out there in the store, but I want to focus on the groceries. When we take our grandkids in there, we love to go into the grocery section because they see candies and fun items and treats that honestly, some of them they've never seen before. But for those of us who are concerned about the inflation right now and the cost of feeding our families, NPS, boy, they can really save you money. As you know, throughout the store, 20 to 70% off everything every single day. But boy, they have additional savings that are almost unbelievable. So whether you're shopping for the absolute basics, or you're looking for fun things for the grandkids or something for an upcoming party, NPS can really save you money. There are 4 locations, the 2 stores in Salt Lake, 1 in Layton, 1 in Orem. That's NPS.
Women go through many changes in their lives. And we believe each milestone matters. That every new candle represents another step in your story. Our healthcare experts support women at every stage of life because each chapter deserves to be celebrated. Women's health. Nurture what's next. Find care near you at mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health. Human kindness lives here.
We have breaking news at KSL News Radio. Police are searching the Salt Lake Community College after a bomb threat was called in this afternoon. Utah Highway Patrol is telling us the bomb threat was called into a Salt Lake City campus. They now have officers at all of them. There's no evidence yet the threat is real, but they're investigating fully. You'll want to stay with us for the very latest here at KSL News Radio. Now we're watching Utah's money. This was the big one. NVIDIA released its earnings report this afternoon, and they did not disappoint. The chip maker blew past earnings and revenue expectations. NVIDIA stock was up in after-hours trading and will likely see a positive effect on the market tomorrow morning. Panera keeps trying to launch comebacks after sales fell 5% last year. Their latest attempt, hopping on the value bandwagon with deals that put the price of some menu items at around $5. Venture capitalist AJ Scaramucci apparently has money to burn. The 33-year-old just dropped $16 million on a Pokemon trading card, a rare one, obviously, the purchase of which he justifies saying it's a more meaningful investment to him than buying a Picasso. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 308 points at 49,482. The S&P gained 56 today, while the Nasdaq picked up 288 points.
This month, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Benjamin Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G service. What's up with that? Ben Franklin wasn't even a president. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be in business with an American wireless company that supports our vets in a big way and keeps all their customer service in this country. That's important. And you'll be on the same towers the big carriers use, so you'll get the same 5G service without the inflated price. So hang on to your Benjamins and switch to Pure Talk for a Jackson and a Lincoln. No contract, no hidden fees. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and you'll get 50% off your first month when you switch. That's pound 250, Mike Rowe, for an American wireless company that is truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
High five! Up top!
Dave's company just got the 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business. Yeah! It's 5 years of gig speed internet, advanced security, and a great rate that won't change. All from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
Heck yeah!
He hasn't given this many high fives since Deborah brought in her famous banana bread.
Yes!
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee. Powering 5 years of savings, powering possibilities.
And it's hurting, but I am not stopping. Woo!
For a limited time, now through March 29th, switch to Comcast Business to lock in your rate for 5 years and get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Or ask how to get started with 150 megabit internet and Security Edge for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Don't wait. Call today. Restrictions apply. New customers only. 1-year contract required for guaranteed rate. Paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account required. 5-year pricing applies to monthly service charge excluding taxes and fees.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Emergency Traffic is brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.44% on savings at UCCU.com. Here's Ricky Meese.
Southbound I-15 stacked up and backed up starting just after 6 North all the way down to 2100 South, where we did have the collector ramp to southbound I-15 at 2100 South blocked due to a crash. They've just opened that up in that left lane. Then more delays scattered from Murray through Draper with an accident blocking a left lane approaching 53rd South in Murray. Eric?
Part of the problems in that area is a crash on the northbound side of I-15 just before the 2100 South area. They've still got the HOV lane closed. There are a lot of looks like liquid debris that they're going to have to clean up. The delays go back to 4500 South, but at the tail end of that, it's starting to improve a little bit. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Traffic and weather together on the 9. Skies are going to clear up tonight with a low of 35 degrees. Tomorrow, not quite so warm, partial sunshine. We're expecting 54, then Friday, 60 and sunshine. Saturday, clouds and 62 degrees.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good evening. This is the 5 o'clock report, 20 minutes of uninterrupted news, commercial free. I'm Jeff Caplan, KSL's top story. Police want to warn you about AI voice cloning. Recently, scammers called a Lehigh parent and used their own child's screaming voice to convince them of a kidnapping. We have multiple reports. Let's begin with KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson.
Lehigh police say earlier this month, a parent got a phone call from someone who claimed to have kidnapped their child. They heard screaming in the background that sounded like their kid. The suspect demanded money in exchange for the child's safe return. Luckily, the parent went to the school and found that their child was still there. They hadn't been kidnapped. It was just AI. FBI Special Agent Curtis Cox tells Midday they're seeing these types of crimes, including AI, more and more.
Using children's voices, pictures that appear to represent one's child is a scare tactic that the bad actors know is likely to induce a reaction from parents or other loved ones.
Cox says most criminals get likenesses from social media, so be sure to review your privacy settings before sharing photos and videos that criminals can use. Heather Peterson, KSL News Radio.
The effectiveness of AI voice cloning might surprise you. Here's KSL News Radio's Reagan Edelman.
Voice cloning was placed under the spotlight earlier this month after the former host of NPR's Morning Edition podcast accused Google of stealing his voice. He sounds like this.
I don't know, you've probably gone through this. Like, I've listened to stories and interviews that I do, and I pick them apart.
That's David Green's real voice, pulled from NPR. Recent coverage from NPR offers a soundbite from a Google AI-generated podcast.
But we wanted to at least say goodbye, to thank you, to tell you that even though our world was a lie.
Green filed a lawsuit against Google this month under the claim that his voice is stolen. Green probably has a lot more audio to steal from than I do or than you do, so how does this affect the rest of us? I decided to check it out. I recorded a sentence into an AI platform. I read a cue, something about meeting a friend for dinner, less than 6 seconds of audio, and it analyzed my voice.
What do you think? Is it convincing?
I never said that. That's audio from the AI platform based on a sentence prompt I typed. Reagan Edelman, KSL News Radio.
Wow. To counter the dangers of artificial intelligence, Utah is creating what's being called a pro-human AI task force. State Commerce Director Margaret Bussey says this group will focus on the forces of good.
I think this is such a great economic opportunity for Utah because we can recruit the kind of companies that want to be in this kind of pro-human space, that want to be building out companies using AI that help humanity. And that's what's so exciting to think about this.
The Commerce Director says this pro-human task force is going to help guide the use of AI in Utah's schools, government, and in the workforce. KSL News Time 5:03. This is breaking news. We're following reports of a bomb threat called into Salt Lake Community College. UHP, Utah Highway Patrol, tells us they have officers at all city campuses investigating. They say there's no current evidence suggesting the threat is real, but they want to investigate the report fully. We've asked the school for comment, but they say UHP is taking the lead on this investigation. We're following the story. Stay with us here at KSL News Radio. Day 3 at the Corey Richens trial was cut short today. The judge said he had an emergency on his schedule. KSL TV's Shelby Lofton was there. She says before the early dismissal, the judge heard from Chelsea Gibson, a crime scene technician.
The kitchen, Gibson found 2 other objects. Worth noting here, Gibson did not search the kitchen the day Eric died. The defense said on day 1 that 2 Moscow mules Corey and Eric drank were left sitting in the sink, and the nanny put them in the dishwasher the next day. What Gibson did find was a set of tweezers and a small piece of plastic.
It's a pair of tweezers that was located inside of a jacket pocket that was laying on the kitchen counter.
Not much was established during Gibson's testimony today. The judge says we'll pick things back up tomorrow morning.
And we'll continue to follow the trial here at KSL. Former BYU football player Parker Kingston was in court today. It was Kingston's first appearance since he was dismissed from the BYU football team. He is charged with raping a woman in her St. George home last year. Today's hearing was for an evidence discovery review. The alleged victim will be seen next month. KSL News Time 5:05. Our top national story, Democrats in Congress charge that the Justice Department illegally hid parts of the Epstein files about President Trump. The specific focus, a woman who accused Trump of sexual assault.
Ranking member Robert Garcia says that his search included an unredacted version of a 2025 FBI presentation that includes an unidentified woman appearing to tell the FBI that she was introduced to Trump by Epstein in the early 1980s, and she alleges Trump then assaulted her when she was roughly 14. Garcia then determined that there were other documents tied to this same unidentified woman that were not released, despite the law calling for virtually all Epstein files to be made public with limited exceptions.
That's ABC's Jay O'Brien on Capitol Hill. KSL News Time 5:06. First look traffic on the 5 o'clock report. Here's Ricky Meese.
The adventures of bumper cars continue, and this time it's on the westbelt. If you're traveling southbound I-215's westbelt, a crash at 7th North blocking left lanes of traffic. That's going to cause some delays, and the delays continue north and southbound I-15. Now, the collector ramp southbound I-15 to southbound I-15 at 2100 South is open, but on the northbound side of I-15, left lane still blocked with the crash at 2100 South. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time 5:06. The president's choice for Surgeon General went before a Senate committee today. Casey Means is not a doctor, but she's on the same page as RFK Jr. when it comes to vaccines. At the hearing, Senator Bill Cassidy, who is a doctor, asked Means if she would advise parents to vaccinate their kids against measles.
I would work with you, the CDC, the NIH, ACIP,
But would you
FDA.
encourage mothers to vaccinate their children with the MMR vaccine, seeing how we've had children die in this outbreak in South Carolina?
I'm supportive of vaccination. I do believe that each patient, mother, parent needs to have a conversation with their pediatrician.
That's Casey Means. Her original hearing in October was postponed when she went into labor. Utah Valley University has sent out a health alert to students after several athletes tested positive for measles at the high school wrestling championship at UVU. Assistant Director of Utah High School Activities Association, Brennan Jackson, says this is a rare occurrence because there are protocols in place to protect wrestlers from illnesses.
When they come to like a state championship or something like that, every wrestler before they can wrestle has to go through and get cleared medically for a skin check.
Jackson says they didn't catch the measles because it was an early stage. The rash hadn't developed yet, allowing it to slip through the cracks. The son of a Real Housewives of Salt Lake City star has died. Police say Mary Cosby's 23-year-old son, Robert, died from a possible overdose earlier this week. The investigation is ongoing. KSL News Time 5:08 on Wednesday afternoon. This is My Minute of News, brought to you by Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air, anyhourservices.com. So there's this proposal that everybody in Utah hears about. We all kind of take it half seriously, swish it around in our heads, and then say, nah, that's ridiculous. You've heard this idea. Build a gigantic pipe to California, suck salt water out of the Pacific, refill the Great Salt Lake. We want to like this idea because it's a simple concept. Pipe, suck, problem solved. But sadly, the devil is in the details. It'll cost $1 gazillion billion. Maybe the federal government will pay for it, but pushing the water over the mountains would cause, what did we hear today? 200,000 cars worth of pollution. And there's the one problem nobody talks about. This pipe will suck ocean life out of the Pacific. Whales won't fit through the pipe, but tiny organisms would come through and be introduced into Utah. Maybe they'll make the seagulls sick, kill the brine shrimp. We have no idea. So let's heed this advice.
Chasing waterfalls. Please stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to.
And there's something else nobody's talking about. Let's get serious here for a second. A lot of Utahns have always suspected there must be something in the water in California that makes the place so crazy. Scientists have never disproven this, so I ask, what if liberalism there is in the water? We're going to turn on this bathtub tap, refill the lake, and suddenly people will be screaming for a 12% state income tax. Come winter, the lake effect snow would literally bury Utah in liberal snowflakes falling from the sky. Next thing you know, everybody's changing their pronouns. Antifa is on every street corner, so maybe, I'm looking at you, state legislature, we better get busy conserving more water.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
Emergency traffic on KSL brought to you by UCCU. Direct deposit gets you $300. Love where you bank. Here's Ricky Meese.
Another crash, and it's getting difficult to decide where to start because we have delays up and down the I-15 corridor. On the northbound side of I-15, our latest crash is in Sandy near 106 South. It is blocking center lanes of traffic. Fire crews are now arriving on the scene. They may block off more traffic, so that's your spot of slowing due to a crash on northbound I-15 at the south end of the valley, and then delays pretty heavy at times from Murray all the way to the 6 South exit due to an earlier crash at 2100 South where they had a left lane blocked to traffic. Now southbound I-15 speeds are starting to improve, but it is still really crowded and slow from North Temple to 2100 South, and then spots of slowing as you go from just after 33rd South into Midvale and Sandy. Part of that due to an accident at 53rd South over to the left, still in the cleanup stages. I-15 in Davis and Weber County, all clear. Eric?
Crash southbound on the 215 westbound approaching 700 north, blocking the left lane. Heavy delays stretching back to 2100 north. You get past that, it looks good until you, well, actually it looks pretty good all the way past the 201 highway. It's the northbound side of the westbound that's slow as you head from about Lake Park, Parkway Boulevard, heading up to the 201 highway, and then scattered slowdowns all the way up to I-80. If you're over on Bankett or Highway, expect southbound slowdowns going from 700 south down to the 201, and then past that pretty much all the way down to 3500 south. Down in Utah County, I-15 is looking pretty good on the northbound side. Southbound, we are seeing some brake tapping approaching Pleasant Grove Boulevard and exiting there to go into Linden or Pleasant Grove. That is slow as well. Elevate your dining at the Roof, now serving lunch and dinner. Enjoy city views and fan favorites like funeral potato bites and the bacon fig flatbread. Visit theroofslc.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
As we head through the 5 o'clock hour, we're continuing to see mostly cloudy skies with temperatures in the upper 50s. We'll slide into the mid-50s by 6 o'clock, low 50s by 7, and upper 40s by 8. Ultimate lows will be in the upper 30s under partly cloudy skies. With your hourly forecast on the 5 o'clock report, I'm Kevin Eubank.
Tomorrow, a little cooler, partial sunshine and 54 degrees. Then Friday, 60 and sunshine. Hope you got out this afternoon. Otherwise, you missed the 63 degrees. KSL News Time 5:13, sunset tonight at 6:14 p.m. Sunrise tomorrow morning at 7:06. KSL News Time 5:13. UDOT has new tech that is going to save snowplows some time. What it's going to do is make sure plows never hit a red light at major intersections.
Utah's Department of Transportation has been working over the last few years installing V2X technology in their snow plows and at stoplights. Spokesperson John Gleason says now all the plows in northern Utah have this tech, and they're working with police and other emergency vehicles so everyone can get where they need to go faster.
You know, these are all emergency response type vehicles, and it's important that they get to where they're going so that we can all be safer as a result.
It works by setting a detector at the traffic light, which can pick up when a plow is on the way. By the time the plow gets to the light, it should be green. Gleason says this will keep snow from piling up and give drivers more time for plowing instead of waiting at red lights. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time 5:13. This is breaking news on KSL News Radio. All clear. Utah Highway Patrol says they've cleared all Salt Lake Community College campuses after a bomb threat was called in earlier. Officials say there were no evacuations, and they don't believe that classes were disrupted. Yet another day as NASA attempts to fly 4 astronauts around the moon. Today, the Artemis rocket left the launch pad for its hangar. NASA Solar System Ambassador to Utah, Patrick Wiggins, says repairs are now underway.
Coming up with new technology, of course, you're always going to run into problems with new technology. Trying to not reinvent the wheel. Some people have said, well, we did it back in the 60s and 70s. Why can't we do it again? Well, we did it then, but we didn't do it as well as we'd like. And I have to admit, as big a NASA fan as I am, I think a lot of the reason we went back then was political. And we don't have that drive, I don't think.
Wiggins says with people on board, nobody wants to take chances. Taking the time to make space travel as safe as possible is worth the wait. Now, the Artemis lunar fly-around is off until at least April. KSL News Time, 5:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First, the bomb threat called into the Salt Lake Community College this afternoon is over. Officers are saying everything is clear. There were no evacuations. There was no bomb. And they don't even believe classes were disrupted. Second,
a now deleted ex-post from a Utah College Republican leader calling for deporting undocumented children, paired with a well-known Star Wars scene involving the killing of young characters, is drawing backlash from some state leaders. I'm KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera.
Third, our biggest traffic trouble spot.
Left lanes blocked due to a crash on southbound I-215's westbound at 7th North, backing traffic. And then northbound I-15, our latest accident in Sandy, northbound I-15 after 106 South. Most of it has been pushed to the right shoulder, but emergency crews still blocking that right lane. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Our storm delivered, but now it's going to dry out and get warmer. I'm Kevin Eubank.
57 at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Now, our top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. Cuban officials say at least 4 people are dead and 6 others are injured after they say people on a U.S.-registered speedboat opened fire on Cuban troops off the coast of the island nation. In St. Kitts for a summit, Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the U.S. is trying to verify the information that's coming out of Cuba.
We have our embassy on the ground in Havana working this as we speak, asking for access to the people that were on those vessels, if they were American citizens or permanent residents. According to the Cuban regime, the boat was registered in Florida.
As U.S. forces build in the Middle East, Senate Majority Leader John Thune says he doesn't believe President Trump has yet made any decisions on striking Iran.
He's made any decisions about this, but I think that he is preparing for contingencies and is pursuing his policy of peace through strength and working with allies in the region to ensure that we prevent Iran from ever having a nuclear capability.
President Trump's Surgeon General nominee facing tough questions on Capitol Hill. Dr. Casey Means' views reportedly closely aligning with HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy, himself a doctor, asked Means if she would advise parents to vaccinate their children against diseases like measles and whooping cough.
I would work with you, the CDC, the NIH, ACIP,
But would you
FDA.
encourage mothers to vaccinate their children with the MMR vaccine, seeing how we've had children die and this outbreak in South Carolina?
I'm supportive of vaccination. I do believe that each patient, mother, parent needs to have a conversation with their pediatrician.
Harvard University announcing today that former U.S. Treasury Secretary Larry Summers will resign from teaching at the end of the academic year. This as the university reviews his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. And there are new claims from House Democrats that the Department of Justice appears to have withheld dozens of pages of witness notes and reports about alleged Epstein victim ties to the president. You're listening to ABC News.
KSL News Time, 5:18. A new worldwide survey named Salt Lake City International one of the 2 best airports in North America. We share that honor with New York's LaGuardia. SLC was also honored as one of the 3 cleanest airports in North America, and will quickly point out they're not even done building it. And before your family hits the skies for your next flight, you might want to think about packing a car seat for your young travelers.
The FAA allows children under 2 to sit unrestrained on a parent's lap when in flight, but advocates at today's Child Passenger Safety Conference warn that turbulence, falling luggage, and hot drinks all pose legit risks for your kids.
We want to protect children the best that we can, and we know from decades of research and data that having a child in their own aircraft seat with an appropriate child restraint system is the best choice.
Leah Tuso is a nationally recognized child passenger safety expert. Now, a car seat on a plane sounds great and safe and all, but what about the cost? Buying a seat for a child who could sit on your lap can be really expensive.
So we have to look at the trip overall. Are there other areas of the trip that maybe we can cut cost and help, ease the pain of purchasing that second ticket?
She tells KSL TV that if your child uses the car seat in the car based on age and weight, they should use one on a plane. Andy Cup, KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time 5:19. We have emergency traffic. We're brought to you by UCCU, up to $500 for loan transfers. Love where you bank. Here's Ricky Meese.
Just multiple crashes on your drive home on the freeways tonight, and that has caused unusual delays. Northbound I-15, we do have our slowing. This is typical at the point of the mountain into Draper at the Bangerter Highway exit. But in Sandy, we have a crash after 106 South, a right lane blocked, and that is causing heavy delays to 123rd South, and then more delays Murray to downtown due to an earlier accident that had been blocking a left lane at 2100 South. Southbound I-15, speeds improving slightly, but we're not clear of slowdowns, and those stretch on southbound I-15 from just after North Temple to 2100 South, and then again from 45th South to 90th South. Sandy, now starting to see some heavy and slow traffic. This is westbound on I-80, leaving the mouth of Parley's over to about 2300 East. Eric?
A southbound crash on the 215 westbound near the airport is blocking off a left lane. They're still clearing that, and backups go back to even before 2100 North. If you're northbound on the westbound, that's slow. 3100 South up to the 201 Highway. Foothill Drive, pretty slow. Sunnyside down to 2100 South down to Utah County. You got a stretch of slowdown southbound 15 going from 500 East and American Fork down into Linden. Looking for a dose of love, laughter, and a little bit of magic? Try out a bubbly romantic comedy at the Opera. Donizetti's The Elixir of Love, March 7th through 15th at the Capitol Theater. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
The KSL 7-day forecast is looking very mild across the state. Tonight, 39 for the low, 58 and partly cloudy on Thursday, partly cloudy and 60 on Friday, and then low 60s on Saturday and Sunday here in Salt Lake City. By Sunday afternoon, a chance for some valley rain and mountain snow. That storm will continue into Monday, even a little bit into Tuesday, but temperatures stay extra warm through the middle of next week, near 60 degrees. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Kevin Eubank.
Your 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. We're at 57 in Salt Lake City. We'll check the close on Wall Street
Jeff
next.
Kaplan's Afternoon News, only on KSL News Radio.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. As Utah continues to grow, MidFirst Bank brings the strength of the nation's largest privately owned bank with $41.4 billion in assets while staying focused on building real, long-term relationships with clients. Senior Vice President Chris Tillich joins us with more.
At MidFirst Bank, our team is made up of experienced bankers who have spent most of their careers serving Utah customers and understand the needs of local businesses. While MidFirst is headquartered in Oklahoma City, our presence in Utah continues to grow, led by a team that lives and works here. We focus on small business, commercial, and private banking, offering a full range of lending, deposit, and treasury management solutions. With a 19.1% risk-based capital ratio, ranking in the 92nd percentile among mid-sized banks, MidFirst is a strong, stable, and safe place for deposits. Utah's market is thriving, and so are we. We're off to a strong start with $30 million in new loan commitments and dozens of new commercial deposit accounts already closed in January. We take a common-sense, relationship-driven approach to banking, thinking creatively to deliver smart solutions with personalized, person-to-person service.
MidFirst Bank continues to support Utah by backing local businesses and giving back to the communities they serve. To learn more about MidFirst Bank and their services, visit midfirst.com. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
You trust us for news and information in your car. Now trust us at home. KSL News Radio has you covered, keeping you informed on the latest breaking news, weather, traffic, sports, and more. Listen on your Amazon Echo or Google Home device. Just say, Alexa, open KSL News Radio. Or listen on the KSL News Radio Listen app. Text the word app to 57500. KSL News Radio. We have you covered.
The company you work for just froze your pension. Now what? Should you take the lump sum or monthly payments? What happens to your spouse if something happens to you? And how does this impact your Social Security benefits? If you're like most people, you have more questions than answers. But here's the bigger problem right now. If you make a wrong decision here, it could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars in retirement. That's why you need to know all of your options so you can make the right decision for you and your family. Boss Retirement Solutions, right here in Utah, offers a free, comprehensive pension review for individuals with $300,000 or more in retirement savings. Call 801-896-9622 for your free analysis now. That's 801-896-9622. 801-896-9622.
Advisory services offered through Boss Retirement Advisors, an SEC registered investment advisor. Insurance products and services offered through Boss Retirement Solutions.
We're watching Utah's Money at KSL. One of the richest men in the world has apologized for his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Bill Gates told staff members at his foundation that he had an affair with 2 Russian women. According to the foundation, Gates took responsibility for his actions. The president talked about it last night, and next week, the major tech companies are going to be heading to the White House to sign the data center pledge. He spoke of this. Meta, Amazon, Google, the others will promise to supply their own power for data centers in order to keep electric rates down for the rest of us. A huge day at Axon Enterprises, which makes tasers, drones, and body cams. The company beat earnings estimates, and the stock skyrocketed. Axon up more than 19%. On Wall Street, the Dow up 308. The S&P picked up 56. The NASDAQ was up 288 points. This hour of the show is brought to you by the Utah Association of CPAs, and joining us live in the studio, Mike Criddle, tax partner with Eide Bailey. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here, Jeff.
And there's something exciting that the IRS is offering this year. There's a new federal tax deduction for older Americans. What is this?
Yeah, it's part of the One Big Beautiful Bill that was signed this summer. It's an additional $6,000 enhanced deduction that older Americans get.
What makes it enhanced?
Well, there are a number of deductions that older Americans already get, and so they call it an enhanced deduction because it's in addition to, not instead of, those other deductions.
Okay, how old do you have to be an older American?
Well, 65, and specifically you have to be 65 by December 31st, 2025 to get it on your 2025 tax return.
Is this one of those ones that's going to last till President Trump leaves office, or is this for good?
No, it is not permanent. It is only good for the 2025 through 2028 tax years.
Okay, so let's ask about single filers versus married filers who are 65 or older. What's the total deduction look like once you put everything together on a tax return?
Well, for a single filer, the total deduction when you add the base deduction plus the older deduction that already exists plus the enhanced deduction is $23,750. Whereas a married filing joint taxpayer, it's $46,700.
Okay, and if one spouse is over 65, the other under, how's that play out?
You only get the enhanced $6,000 for the spouse over 65.
Okay, does this senior bonus stack on top of the standard deduction seniors already received? This is in addition. That's the enhancement?
Yep, it's in addition to the existing deductions that exist whether you itemize or take the standard deduction.
I had no idea, and I'm going to take that deduction, so thank you very much. If you have questions like mine, hire a CPA. Find one who's right for you at uacpa.org. That's uacpa.org.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Emergency traffic brought to you by UCCU. Direct deposit gets you $300. Love where you bank. Ricky, what about it?
It's still pretty rough out there. And add another one to the list. A KSL listener texting in a crash northbound I-15 Bluffdale to Draper near 146 South. Left lane's blocked. That is causing heavy delays back to the point of the mountain. This is in addition to the slowing from earlier crashes northbound I-15 in Sandy and from Murray to downtown. Southbound I-15 still heavy and slow from North Temple to 2100 South and in spots as you go from Murray through Draper. Eric?
Southbound delays continues 2100 north down to 700 north on the West Belt because of a crash there. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Well, our storm delivered. Valleys picked up a ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch of rain, in the mountains anywhere from 6 to 10 inches of snow. Tonight, partly cloudy skies with a low of 39, upper 50s and partly cloudy on Thursday. Low 60s return for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll get a 30% chance of some rain on Sunday, and then another chance for valley rain into Monday. From the KSO Weather Center, I'm Kevin Eubank.
You're listening to Jeff Caplan's Afternoon News
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM
and 1160 AM.
Good evening, 5:30 at KSL. Jeff Caplan here. It's 57 in Salt Lake City. KSL's top story. President Trump and a bunch of kids hanging around the state capitol are all focused on the exact same thing today: saving the Great Salt Lake. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera is live at the Capitol with the story. Eric?
Jeff, youth environmental advocates wrapped up rallying just now inside the Hall of Governors, urging lawmakers to bring SB 250, Great Salt Lake amendments, back for a vote before the session ends. The bill would allocate $200 million in state funds towards the lake. They were joined by Senator Nate Bluin and environmental groups, emphasizing that the lake can't wait. But that bill isn't the only effort in motion. Governor Spencer Cox confirms the state is putting together an official proposal for the Trump administration, asking for around $1 billion in federal support. KSL.com's Carter Williams has been digging into that request.
We still don't know exactly what will happen in terms of what this pledge is, how does that translate to projects, all that different stuff. What we do know is that there is a concept that's being proposed right now, is being put together, that lawmakers say is probably going to be in the range of $1 billion. So that could go toward a lot of different things.
That comes after President Donald Trump posted about making the Great Salt Lake great again on social media. From student voices here at the Capitol to conversations in Washington, the pressure to act is building. Live at the Capitol, Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
Thanks, Eric. KSL News Time, 5:32. Developing news on KSL. Utah Highway Patrol says it's cleared all Salt Lake Community College campuses after a bomb threat this afternoon. It's unclear where the threat was called in, but UHP says officers investigated each and every city campus just to be safe. They don't even believe classes were disrupted. There was no bomb. KSL News Time, 5:32. After voting to close county daycare centers, Salt Lake County Council is considering a way to resurrect them. KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff with the latest.
Council Chair Amy Winter-Newton tells Inside Sources they want the Parks and Recreation Department to study leasing out those spaces to private entities that could then run the programs.
I think this will be a win-win all around to look at how we can balance getting more childcare spaces, but not having property taxpayers on the hook to pay for it.
The county would encourage the providers to prioritize low-income families. Jefferson Curtis with Utah Works for Families says they're opposed to this idea because middle-income families also need help.
I believe that child care should fall under things like education, like public education, because a lot of it really is prepping children for kindergarten in a lot of different ways.
Winter-Newton says they're hoping to get information from the mayor's office within a few weeks. Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time, 5:33. Our top national story: off the coast of Cuba, that country's border guard exchanged gunfire with a Florida speedboat today. Cuba claims 4 Florida attackers were killed. A Cuban border commander was injured. A U.S. official says it was a civilian speedboat, not U.S. military. It's owned by a group that apparently tries to help people escape Cuba. Iran today offering both the carrot and the stick to the U.S. That country's president says he's hopeful for negotiations with the U.S., but at the same time, Iran's Revolutionary Guard is holding military drills. Talks with the U.S. resume next week.
We've heard from Iranian state TV that the Iranian delegation led by the foreign minister is now on its way to Geneva ahead of those talks. We know that President Trump has demanded that Iran give up all its nuclear ambitions. We know also that he's been pushing previously for Iran to cap its long-range missile capabilities, and in particular, that is something that Israel has been pushing President Trump to try and press for.
ABC News correspondent Patrick Reevell. Last night, the president said the economy is doing great, but a new ABC News Ipsos poll shows a majority of voters disapprove of the way he's handling the economy.
For many families, their perception of the economy comes down to what they are paying for day-to-day essentials, and many of those costs are rising. Government data shows that since President Trump took office, electricity bills are up 6%, medical care and daycare costs up 4%, rent up about 3%, grocery bills up 2%. We know eggs are down, but other staples like coffee are up double digits.
ABC's Elizabeth Schulze. KSL News Time, 5:35. KSL Sports Mammoth captain Clayton Keller, now known as Olympic gold medalist Clayton Keller, is back in Utah. KSL Sports Mammoth insider Cole Bagley says Keller comes home with a lot of pride for country.
You could just sense, how proud he is and how grateful he was to everybody involved, right? From his parents to other family members to, the USA Hockey organization to his teammates. I mean, you just could really feel the brotherhood that it required for, the United States to win gold. And, I don't know if I've ever seen him smile bigger than he smiled today.
Keller will be on home ice against the Avalanche at 7 o'clock at the Delta Center. And a little more about Clayton Keller coming up with My Minute of News. Stay with us. Right now, it's First Look Traffic. Here's Ricky Meese.
It has been a very, very bumpy drive, and we don't seem to be anywhere near clear of it yet. Our latest crash is blocking 2 left lanes of traffic northbound I-15 at 146 South, causing emergency traffic around the point of the mountain, and a nasty accident southbound I-215's West Belt at 7th North. Left lanes blocked, heavy delays there as well. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
If you've ever set New Year's resolutions before, you know how difficult it is to follow through because you have to wait to see the results. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and in honor of your New Year, New You resolutions, Any Hour Services is having our New Year, New System sale. From now until the end of February, Any Hour Services will give you $2,026 off a new furnace and air conditioner. And you don't have to wait to save the money. You get $2,026 off at the time of purchase. The only thing you have to do to qualify for our New Year, New System sale is call Any Hour Services and schedule a free estimate. When you call, there's no obligation to buy. Just schedule a time to meet that works best for you. Let me say that again. From now until the end of February, when you have Any Hour Services install a new furnace and air conditioner, we'll give you $2,026 off. Call Any Hour Services right now and schedule a free estimate. 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
This is My Minute of News, brought to you by Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air, anyhourservices.com. It was a shrewd decision, a smart decision. When your approval rating is low, surround yourself with winners. The parade of heroes who burst through the door or struggled to stand up or rose with pride during last night's State of the Union address seemed endless. During the hour and 40-minute speech, the president awarded 6 medals, including 2 Purple Hearts, a Legion of Merit award, all deserved. But the biggest honor went to the guy with the almost miraculous kick save in the Team USA hockey triumph. As applause rained down from both sides of the aisle, the president told the Team USA goalie he gets the nation's highest honor,
the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
And while the speech started to feel like, you get a medal, you get a medal, the captain of the Utah Mammoth was not at the State of the Union. Clayton Keller flew back to Utah yesterday as the president basked in the reflected glory of others. The perfect antidote to an approval rating in the 40s. Trump knows that people love a winner. He said so, yelling it so loud it blew out your TV speakers.
You're going to win bigger than ever. And to prove that point, here with us tonight.
The president also talked about how great the economy is doing. He told us Americans are doing better than ever. He called Democrats crazy, and a few of them took the bait. Congressman Al Green thrown out again this year for brandishing a sign that read, "Black people aren't apes." Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, the squad member from Renee Good's congressional district in Minnesota, shouted, "You have killed Americans."
In many cases, drug lords.
A lot of Democrats boycotted the speech. Others walked out. Just as many Americans watching the speech changed the channel or went to bed because an hour and 40 minutes is a long, long time. In fact, the longest speech to Congress in recorded history.
And God bless America.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
Emergency traffic still were brought to you by UCCU, earned 4.44%. That's 4.44% on savings at UCCU.com. Here's Ricky Meese.
We are coming in hot with emergency traffic that continues. This time it's in Bluffdale Draper due to an accident northbound I-15 at 146 South. We have more emergency crews trying to get access to this crash, but right now it is causing stop-and-go delays to right about SR 92 Temp Highway in Lehigh. So it's going to take you a bit to get past that. Had an accident after 106 South. Those delays are easing, but more slow spots waiting for you northbound I-15 between Murray and the 6 South exit downtown. Southbound I-15 also a slow ride today due to earlier crashes, and that goes from 6 North down to just past the I-80 201 junction, and then again from 45th South Murray to Bluffdale over on I-215 South Belt. A little bit of heavy and slow traffic westbound on I-215 going from Highland Drive over through the Fort Union area. Eric?
We got heavy delays southbound on the 215 westbound from 2100 north down to a crash just before 700 north. More emergency vehicles on the side now, and still the left lane blocked. Normally we don't suggest this, but you might want to think about Redwood Road as an alternate from 215 going down to I-80. If you're down in Utah County, I-15 is just a little bit of slow downs happening from Pioneer Crossing and American Fork down into Linden, but leaving the freeway, heavy delays 2100 north as you go from the freeway over to 3600 west. Discover your next adventure, buy the latest gear, and learn from the experts at the Sportsman's Expo, March 12th through 15th at the Mountain America Expo Center in Sandy. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Well, our storm delivered, but now it's moving out. Partly cloudy skies overnight with a low of 39, 58 and partly cloudy on Thursday. Back to the low 60s on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in northern Utah. Southern Utah up near 80 degrees with sunshine. Oh, wow. We will get some valley rain and mountain snow Sunday into Monday across northern Utah, but temperatures stay mild. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Kevin Eubank.
And right now in Salt Lake City, we're at 57 degrees. We're streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com. We're on the KSL News Radio app. This is Utah's news, traffic, and weather station. It's 5:43 Wednesday night.
Just as I thought it was going all right, I found out I'm wrong when I thought I was right. It's always the same, it's just a shame, that's all.
This This hour of the show is brought to you by the Utah Association of CPAs, and joining us live in the studio, it's great to have you back, Mike Criddle, tax partner with Eide Bailey. We appreciate you coming to tell us about this tax deduction for older Americans. Could you recap what this is all about?
Absolutely. So as part of the One Big Beautiful Bill this past summer, there is a new tax deduction for older Americans, Americans over 65, that gives you an enhanced deduction above and beyond all the other deductions you're already entitled to, reduces your taxable income by $6,000 for single, $12,000 for married filing joint.
Okay, I forgot to ask this when we were speaking a few minutes ago. Are there any income phase-outs? If you make more money than this, you can't take the deduction?
There is, yeah. And it's kind of an odd calculation, but it starts to phase out at $75,000 for single and $150,000 for married filing joint.
And if you're making more than that, you don't get it at all, or it scales out?
It scales out, so it starts to reduce at 6% per each dollar over the threshold.
Okay, that's way technical. But let's talk about eligibility. How important is the age cutoff? What's the birthday deadline that you need in order to qualify?
It's pretty important. You have to be 65 by December 31st, 2025 if you want to get this deduction on the 2025 tax return.
And this only lasts till 2028. That's the end of it.
That's correct.
Unless they decide to extend at a later date, right?
Absolutely. They can always extend it or just let it phase out like they sometimes do.
Could this deduction wipe out somebody's federal tax bill completely?
It could, but keep in mind that your income would have to be pretty low. In other words, the total deduction for a married filing joint couple is $46,000. So your income would have to be under $46,000 for this enhanced deduction to get you all the way to zero.
All right, maybe Mike saved you some money. So if you have questions about your taxes, hire a CPA. Find one who's right for you at uacpa.org. uacpa.org.
If you're struggling with your mortgage, there's a free government program that offers expert one-on-one advice about your mortgage options. Call 1-888-995-HOPE or visit makinghomeaffordable.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Treasury, HUD, and the Ad Council.
KSL News Time 546. The three things you need to know this hour first.
Utah students are rallying at the Capitol to push lawmakers to act on Great Salt Lake protections, while state leaders simultaneously prepare a formal billion-dollar funding proposal for the Trump administration. I'm KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera.
Second, Salt Lake County Council is considering a proposal to keep some daycare centers open and shift the burden of paying for them away from taxpayers. Third, our biggest traffic trouble spot.
A crash on northbound I-15, 146 south. Left lanes blocked to traffic, and we are seeing a parking lot that is growing, rounding the point of the mountain into Lehigh. Left lanes blocked with a crash. Southbound on the west belt at 7th North, also causing heavy delays. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Storms moving out, and the warm temperatures are moving in. I'm Kevin Eubank.
57 at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios now. Our top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. Cuban officials say at least 4 people are dead and 6 others injured after they say people on a U.S.-registered speedboat opened fire on Cuban troops off the coast of the island nation.
Cuban officials claiming that speedboat violated its territorial waters, approaching within 1 nautical mile of the El Pino Channel north of Corralillo, an area known for its intricate keys and proximity to Florida's southern tip.
ABC's Martha Raddatz. Iran's president says the country's foreign minister will head to Geneva Thursday for indirect talks with the United States over Tehran's nuclear program. Harvard University announcing today that former U.S. Treasury Secretary Larry Summers will resign from teaching at the end of the academic year. This as the university reviews his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. And there are new claims from House Democrats that the Department of Justice appears to have withheld dozens of pages of witness notes and reports about an alleged Epstein victim with ties to the president. This is ABC News.
KSL News Time 548. Utah lawmakers have taken the first step toward putting regulations on mini motorcycles. KSL News Radio's Adam Small with details.
This bill would require people who ride mini motorcycles, or what are sometimes called pocket bikes, to follow the same rules and laws for regular motorcycles. To be clear, this bill does not affect e-bikes. Unified Police Detective Angie Oldham told lawmakers today she's seen a lot of problems come from kids riding these mini motorcycles.
Driving down the road at high speeds, weaving in and out of traffic. They go to parks and they do burnouts. They go on the grass and they rip up the grass at the parks and the schools.
Oldham also said she's seen kids get seriously hurt on them. Under current Utah law, you have to be at least 16 to get a motorcycle learner's permit. So if this bill becomes law and an officer sees a 12 or a 13-year-old riding a mini motorcycle on a state road, they could impound the bike and talk to their parents. A House committee approved the proposal unanimously. It'll now go to the full House. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
A 27-year-old man is in custody after police say he ran over a developmentally disabled man and drove off. KSL News Radio's Cameron Elliott with the story.
Police say that Ivan Gomez was driving a truck with an attached trailer when he turned on the intersection of 33rd South and Main Street in South Salt Lake and ran over a man on his bicycle waiting on the sidewalk. Witnesses say the truck then left as if nothing happened, but they told police they feel confident the driver would have felt he hit something. The victim was taken to the hospital where he received surgery on his wounded legs, and the suspect was booked into jail with police suggesting multiple charges. Cameron Elliott, KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time, 5:49. Emergency traffic brought to you by UCCU. Direct deposit gets you $300. Love where you bank. So, Ricky, what's up?
It's pretty rough out there on northbound I-15 Bluffdale to Draper due to a crash at 146 South, and they may be taking up another lane, which would make 3 left and center lanes of travel that will be blocked with this crash and emergency crews. And we are seeing traffic backing up almost to 2100 North in Lehigh. Now's the time to think about avoiding northbound I-15 using an alternate route like the frontage road, or west of I-15, you have Mountain View or Redwood Road. Even if you're on northbound I-15 in Salt Lake County, lingering slowdowns from Murray to downtown. The worst speeds will be from just before 2100 South to 1300 South. Southbound I-15, that has had its own struggles. Delays remain as you go from 6 North down to the I-80 201 junction. But earlier delays that were pretty solid are starting to break up. Southbound I-15 now scattered from 45th South Murray down to Bangerter Highway. Eric?
Looks like the emergency crews over on this crash on the westbound 215 southbound at 700 North trying to move everything closer to the left barrier. But right now, the far left lane is still blocked, so you've got heavy delays still going back to 2100 North. Further down the line, by the way, there is still slowing from I-80 to go southbound on the 215 westbound. That's the transition ramp for westbounders that's being particularly affected right now. If you're down in Utah County, just some reduction of speed going by Pleasant Grove Boulevard, heading into Linden, the northbound side, until you get to those delays in the north part of Lehigh that Ricky was talking about. The northbound does look good, heading from Santaquin up to American Fork. Head to Logan for ice cream, honey, cookies, and cheese on our foodie trek. Ski or rent snowmobiles, see a live performance, cowboy poetry in March, baby animal days in April. ExploreLogan.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast continues to be very mild. Here in the north, we're talking partly cloudy skies with upper 50s and low 60s the next couple of days. Southern Utah, how about mid to upper 70s? The next chance for a storm will come in Sunday into Monday. It'll be valley rain and mountain snow. That threat lingers through the first part of the week. By Tuesday afternoon, it moves out, but temperatures stay mild, near 60 degrees through the middle of the week. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Kevin Eubank.
57 in Salt Lake City, your 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. It's 5:52.
Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News, only on KSL News Radio.
That's what I said now. Princess who adore you. Just go ahead now.
This hour of the show is brought to you by the Utah Association of CPAs. Live in the studio with us, Mike Criddle is a tax partner with Eide Bailey. It's good to have you back at KSL. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Okay, and we're excited to hear more about this tax deduction specifically for older Americans that just began this year. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so as part of the One Big Beautiful Bill that was signed this summer, there's a new tax deduction going into effect for the 2025 through 2028 tax years, $6,000 for single, $12,000 for married filing joint taxpayers, that will reduce their taxable income and save our older folks a few dollars on their tax returns.
But those who are higher income older Americans don't necessarily save as much.
That's correct. So there is an income phase out on the deduction. It starts at $75,000 for single and $150,000 for married filing joint.
So I want to ask you more about this deduction because it is brand new this year. What are some common mistakes or misunderstandings seniors might have when they hear about a new deduction like this?
Well, certainly they might not be aware of the income phase out, so that's important. But I think another part of it is you get the deduction whether you take the standard deduction or you itemize. So it probably will apply to you either way.
Okay, so what should seniors be doing now, ahead of the 2026 filing deadline to make sure they take full advantage of this thing?
Well, they want to make sure that they talk with their CPA and make sure that they understand when it applies, if it applies to them, and how much it will save them potentially. Because it could be anywhere from a couple of $100s to even a couple $1,000s.
Let's talk about eligibility. How important is the age cutoff?
The age cutoff is really important. You have to be 65 as of December 31st, 2025, if you want this deduction on your 2025 tax return. Not that you get to pick your birthday.
Certainly not. Okay. So could this deduction theoretically wipe out somebody's federal tax bill?
It can, because it's going to be an enhanced deduction for married filing joint taxpayers of $12,000. So if your income were low enough, but not low enough to be totally wiped out under the old rules, that additional $12,000 deduction could get you to zero.
So we've had a lot of questions about this new deduction for older Americans. You might have questions about your taxes. You should hire a CPA. Find one who's right for you at uacpa.org. That's uacpa.org. And thanks a lot, Mike.
Thank you.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy. So we show them how, with honest conversations that let them know what we expect. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be shared with friends or family. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
We're watching Utah's money on Wall Street. The Dow is up 308 points, closing at 49,482. The S&P was up 56. The Nasdaq gained 288 points. It's time for Cougar Tracks now, brought to you by Advanced Window Products. High-quality, affordable replacement windows, Jimmer approved. Check out their Window Mania. Here's BYU insider Mitch Harper.
BYU basketball's momentum from the top 10 win over Iowa State last week was short-lived. BYU suffered a stunning wire-to-wire loss against UCF last night at the Marriott Center, 97-84. The Cougars were down by as much as 36 points with 16 minutes to go in the game. Defensively, BYU struggled, and head coach Kevin Young is looking for answers.
I got to watch the film. I mean, we were sleepwalking out there, so it's hard to pinpoint it. I didn't expect that in the slightest. I'm super disappointed in our guys. Super disappointed in myself and our coaches. Just was a night that was not good all around.
For more on what went wrong and how BYU moves forward, listen to Cougar Tracks tonight at 6:30 p.m. right here on KSL. With Cougar Tracks, I'm Mitch Harper on your legacy home of the BYU Cougars. KSL News Radio.
What's up, Utah? This is Jimmer Fredette. You know, back in the day, Jimmer Mania was all about making big shots. Now it's time for Window Mania. Get $2,500 off when you buy 10 windows or more from Advanced Window Products. Call them today at 801-850-9100. If your old drafty windows are a turnover, costing you money every month, it's time for a game changer. These guys are the home team. They're a local, family-owned company that manufactures their windows right here in Salt Lake City. They're built by Utah for our crazy Utah climate. When you buy from Advanced Window Products, you're buying factory direct. No middleman. That's how you score a winning deal. Their windows are tough on defense, blocking out the heat and the cold, which saves you serious money on your energy bills. And here's the slam dunk. Their lifetime warranty, which even covers accidental glass breakage, that's peace of mind you can't get from the other guys. Get in on Window Mania and tell them Jimmer sent you. Call 801-850-9100 or advancedwindows.com.
People think saving money is hard, but really, it's easy. It's as simple as changing a few spending habits. For free tips on how to save the easy way, check out feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Emergency traffic is brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.44% on savings at UCCU.com. Here's Ricky Meese.
Left and center lanes blocked northbound I-15 with a crash, possible injuries approaching 146 south. It's causing heavy delays through Lehigh, almost back to 2100 north. After that, you'll still see some slowing as you go from 45th south to downtown, and delays on southbound I-15 easing slightly, but just not clear. That slowing is going to be from 6 north to 2100 south, again in spots, Murray to Bluffdale. Eric?
Left lane still blocked southbound 215. The west belt's approaching 700 north. Now, with the delays seem pretty much set in place until they've opened up that left lane. You've got it from 2100 north down to the crash site, and you've got slowdowns from westbound I-80 to go south on the transition ramp, southbound on the 215 west belt through the construction zone. Down Utah County, just a smidgen to southbound slowing going by Pleasant Grove Boulevard. Eric Butler on the KSL Traffic Center.
Traffic and weather together on the 9s. Skies are going to clear tonight, the low 35. Then tomorrow, partial sunshine, only reaching 54. I'm saying only, because Friday it's up to 60, Saturday clouds, and 62.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good evening. It's 6 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Jeff Caplan. 57 in Salt Lake City, KSL's top story. What would you do if somebody called you saying they kidnapped your child and you heard your kids screaming in the background? KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson says it happened recently to a parent in Lehigh, but it was just AI.
Police are issuing a warning to parents after criminals tried to use AI-generated screams of a Lehigh child to demand money from their parents. In that case, earlier this month, the parent went to their child's school to double-check and realized they were safe. That was a good move, according to FBI Special Agent Curtis Cox.
Slowing down, taking stock of the situation, asking questions of the person who's contacted them, of loved ones, of law enforcement, and others, and not making decisions based off of that fear.
Cox says parents should check their privacy settings on social media because that's often what criminals use to steal a child's likeness. But AI isn't just being used in this type of scam. Cox says the FBI is now seeing AI integrated into every type of crime they investigate. Heather Peterson, KSL News Radio.
That voice cloning tech might be more convincing than you think. Here's KSL News Radio's Reagan Edelman.
We always think we wouldn't fall for these types of scams, but they can be effective. I wanted to see how good AI was at replicating my voice, so I found a website, recorded a 6-second prompt, and it spit this back out at me.
Welcome back, friend. It's always a joy to share these heartfelt conversations with you.
I never said that. It modeled my voice after just 6 seconds of audio. The debate over voice cloning came under the spotlight earlier this month when NPR's former Morning Edition host David Green said he was suing Google for stealing his voice.
We tried to fight it. We tried to get a lawyer. But it's like they said, AI. We don't have rights.
That sound from a story published by NPR last week, pulled from a podcast hosted by a Google AI bot. Green says that the platform used his voice as a model without his permission. For context, here's Green's real voice.
So I checked it out myself after getting those messages and just had this really strange experience.
Tossing it back to AI here.
Reagan Edelman, KSL News Radio.
That's kind of wild. Utah is creating a new task force to combat the dangers of AI. They're calling it a pro-human task force.
So what we wanted to do here in Utah is say we are going to define our own path for AI, and it is going to be pro-human. Some of the most virulent anxiety is really about being replaced. Is it going to replace me? And so with pro-human AI, we're saying we are going to roll this out in our state with human-guided values.
That's Utah Commerce Director Margaret Bussey, who's a co-chair of the task force. She tells Inside Sources they'll have a hand in how AI is used in the workforce, schools, public safety, and more. KSL News Time, 6:03. Our top national story, a group of Democrats are accusing the Justice Department of withholding sections of the Epstein files that reference President Trump. One of those records are tied to a woman who's accused the president of sexual assault back when she was 14 years old.
It's unclear what exactly is in these withheld records and why they were withheld in the first place. Trump has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing and knowledge of Epstein's crimes. In a social media post, the DOJ said the committee Democrats were misleading the public, writing that all required documents have been produced unless a document falls within one of the following categories: duplicates, privileged, or part of an ongoing federal investigation. Oversight Democrats, though, are pledging their own inquiry into this matter.
ABC's Jay O'Brien reporting. The president's nominee for Surgeon General was questioned by a Senate committee today. Lawmakers had a lot of questions about Dr. Casey Means and her experience in medicine, specifically when it comes to vaccines and autism.
Some have been scared to vaccinate their children because they've been told incorrectly that vaccines cause autism. Do you believe that vaccines, whether individually or collectively, contribute to autism?
Senator Cassidy, you're a physician, I'm a physician. The reality is that we have an autism crisis that's increasing.
Dr. Means has repeatedly expressed her support of Health Secretary RFK Jr. and his vaccination policies. Meantime, the measles outbreak at the high school wrestling championship has prompted UVU to issue a health alert this week. School sports assistant director Brennan Jackson for the state says that there are protocols in place to protect wrestlers from diseases, but this situation was unusual.
The unique thing about measles is that there are different stages of contagiousness that require sometimes time. They may have a slight fever and then a rash that develops over time.
Jackson says they're working closely with the health department and were able to notify schools involved in the tournament about the situation. KSL News Time 6:05. It's time for First Look Traffic. So, Ricky, we've had emergency traffic like pretty much since we walked in the studio this afternoon.
For hours, you're right, Jeff, and it doesn't show any signs of easing up. One of our biggest issues is northbound I-15 Bluffdale to Draper with this crash at 146 South. We've just had more emergency crews arriving on the scene. 3 left lanes blocked. You've got stop-and-go delays into Lehigh. And a KSL listener tipping us off to a crash in Taylorsville, Redwood Road at 4700 South. It is blocking traffic and causing some backups. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Thanks, Ricky. I can't believe the state legislature is talking about this pipeline idea again. I mean, we've covered this. Stay here. My Minute of News is on the way. Next.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Progressive knows life takes you in many directions.
Bear right at exit 32, then begin to wonder why you never bought a fish tank. In 1.3 miles, you'll realize you've been mispronouncing epitome your whole life. At the roundabout, you will remember you said something at dinner you wish you hadn't and will think about it for decades. You have arrived at your destination, but it turns out there really is no destination and life just keeps going.
Wherever life takes you, protect your home and auto with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side, your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. And now, during our President's Day sale, take 50% off our limited edition bed, plus an extra $100 off all mattresses. And Saturday, only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
This is My Minute of News, brought to you by Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air, anyhourservices.com. So there's this proposal that everybody in Utah hears about. We all kind of take it half seriously, swish it around in our heads, and then say, nah, that's ridiculous. You've heard this idea. Build a gigantic pipe to California, suck salt water out of the Pacific, refill the Great Salt Lake. We want to like this idea because it's a simple concept. Pipe, suck, problem solved. But sadly, the devil is in the details. It'll cost $1 gazillion billion. Maybe the federal government will pay for it, but pushing the water over the mountains would cause, what did we hear today? 200,000 cars worth of pollution. And there's the one problem nobody talks about. This pipe will suck ocean life out of the Pacific. Whales won't fit through the pipe, but tiny organisms would come through and be introduced into Utah. Maybe they'll make the seagulls sick, kill the brine shrimp. We have no idea. So let's heed this advice.
Chasing waterfalls. Please stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to.
And there's something else nobody's talking about. Let's get serious here for a second. A lot of Utahns have always suspected there must be something in the water in California that makes the place so crazy. Scientists have never disproven this, so I ask, what if liberalism there is in the water? We're going to turn on this bathtub tap, refill the lake, and suddenly people will be screaming for a 12% state income tax. Come winter, the lake effect snow would literally bury Utah in liberal snowflakes falling from the sky. Next thing you know, everybody's changing their pronouns. Antifa is on every street corner, so maybe, I'm looking at you, state legislature, we better get busy conserving more water.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
Emergency traffic brought to you by UCCU. Up to $500 for loan transfers. Love where you bank. Ricky, all yours.
No relief yet on northbound I-15 coming from Utah County into Salt Lake County. It's due to a crash at 146 South. You still have multiple left lanes blocked, and it's causing stop and go and slow and go delays to 2100 North Lehigh. You do want to either delay your travel time, allow extra travel time, or consider an alternate route. Even if you're past those delays, there's still some leftover heavy and slow traffic northbound I-15, 33rd South to the 6th South exit downtown. We're seeing big improvements on the southbound slowdowns on I-15. That's from North Temple, really all the way to Murray, but it's Murray to Sandy at about 90th South where it's still a little bogged down and slow, and a patch of slowing westbound on I-80 passing Foothill Drive. Eric?
Well, they still have that crash southbound on the 215 westbound just before 700 North still being cleared up, but they have moved it all the way over, and so all 3 lanes are getting through, and that's making a quick positive impact on the traffic flow going through there. So it should be pretty delay-free here in just a few more minutes. If you're westbound on I-80 trying to go south on 215, that transition ramp is still very slow. Downtown, getting busy. 300 West, hockey is back. Utah Mammoth starting here in about 45 minutes, so watch out for pedestrians and other cars if you're near the Delta Center. Down I-15 in Utah County, we don't have any real problems southbound now going from Lehigh to Provo. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Our storm is moving out tonight. We're looking at partly cloudy skies and a low of 39 degrees. Our normal low is 32, so a little warmer than that. But in the afternoon, we're almost 10 degrees above normal. Upper 50s and low 60s the next couple of days with partly to mostly cloudy skies. The next chance for storm comes in late Sunday into Monday. It will be valley rain and mountain snow and will keep things mild. From the KSO Weather Center, I'm Kevin Eubank.
57 in Salt Lake City, and we're streaming live on the KSL News Radio app. You can listen on your phone. This is Utah's news, traffic, and weather station. 12 minutes after 6. My mom lives back east. The temperatures got down to 0 there. and her pipes froze. No water. And it also put her heating system at risk of a breakdown, and we had to get her out of there in the middle of the night. You know why? Well, first of all, because they have something called winter back east, and also because they don't have any hour services, but we do. For plumbing problems, for heating issues, their certified technicians can point out the problems before you have to go running out the door in the middle of the night, and they'll fix them with upfront pricing. What they quote beforehand is exactly what you pay afterward. So the next time you have a problem or something just seems off with your electric, your plumbing, your heating, even your air conditioning, do what I've been doing for 10 years. Do what my mom can't do back east. Make an appointment with Any Hour Services, but first check their 27,000 Google reviews, then go to anyhour.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Are your investments in the right accounts? What's best, traditional or Roth? Are you receiving all available tax deductions? Are you paying as little in tax as you can? These are all questions you can't afford to get wrong. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth, and in many cases, it's not what you make, but it's what you keep that makes the real difference. Trajan Wealth and Trajan Tax work closely together exclusively. No more guessing about whether you should do a Roth conversion, or if maxing out your 401k is really the best option. Our nationally recognized fiduciary advisors and CPA team work in tandem to make sure your tax strategy works with your investment strategy. We'll even do your tax preparation. One team, one strategy. Isn't it time for a second opinion? Call Trajan today, 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
Over the years, you've brought them into your home. You were prescribed opioids after the C-section and after Dad's back injury. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But did you know holding on to unused opioids puts your family at risk? Trouble with opioids can start at home with unused medicines such as pills, patches, and syrups. You can remove the risk and protect your family. Find out how at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
KSL News Time 6:15. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
police warn that criminals are now using AI to recreate children's voices and convince parents they've been kidnapped in order to get ransom money. This happened recently to a parent in Lehigh. I'm KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson.
Second, a now deleted X post from a Utah College Republican leader calling for deporting undocumented children was paired with a well-known Star Wars scene involving the killing of a young character. It drew backlash from some state leaders. Third, our biggest traffic trouble spot.
And emergency traffic continues due to a crash on northbound I-15 at 146 South. With left lanes blocked, we are still seeing heavy delays into Lehigh at about 2100 North. And the final cleanup of the crash, southbound I-215's west belt at 7th North to the left. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Clouds linger this afternoon, but we're looking at warmer temperatures as we head through the end of the week. I'm Kevin Eubank.
Warmer. It's 57 at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios now. Our top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. 4 people on a speedboat were killed and another 6 injured in a confrontation near Cuba's coast, say officials on the island nation, after those on board the Florida-registered vessel opened fire on Cuban troops. The incident happening in Cuban waters. ABC's Martha Raddatz.
The U.S. Coast Guard is now off the coast of Cuba. Secretary of State Rubio made it clear he does not trust the Cuban account, and the U.S. will do its own investigation. But he also added it is highly unusual to see a shootout in the open seas off Cuba.
An apology from Bill Gates to employees of his foundation for his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein.
Gates acknowledged his association probably helped Epstein rehabilitate his image. And he revealed other damning specifics, saying the men flew together on a private jet and that they hung out in Germany, France, New York, and Washington. But Gates was adamant that he never witnessed any criminal activity. But Gates did acknowledge he had affairs with 2 Russian women.
ABC Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas. FBI agents returned to Nancy Guthrie's house today, 3.5 weeks after she was taken in the middle of the night by an unidentified masked man.
The FBI is reducing the number of personnel in Tucson. Many agents are now heading back to Phoenix to work the case from there. Investigators are now sorting through a surge in tips after the Guthrie family's offer of $1 million for information leading to their mother. The Pima County Sheriff's Department said the number of calls ramped up in the hours after Savannah's message.
ABC's Aaron Katersky. Air travel in and out of Mexico is returning to normal, but tourists are on edge after the violence that erupted following the killing of a top cartel boss. Vice President J.D. Vance announcing today that the Trump administration would temporarily halt some Medicaid funding to the state of Minnesota over fraud concerns as part of what he described as an aggressive crackdown on misuse of public funds. You're listening to ABC News.
KSL News Times, 6:18. Day 3 of the Corey Richins trial began with a review of evidence, but then it came to a sudden stop. KSL TV's Shelby Lofton was in the courthouse and has details on what happened.
Court was in session for just under an hour today. The judge excused everyone just before 11. He said there was an emergency on his schedule. In the short time the jury was seated, we heard from that crime scene technician, Chelsea Gibson, who went over the evidence yesterday. To recap, Gibson did a 3D scan of the Richins home a little bit over 1 month after Eric died there. When Gibson was doing a thorough search, she found THC gummies throughout the house. She also found prescription medication, including a bottle prescribed to Corey for quetiapine, which is an antipsychotic. In the kitchen, Gibson found 2 other objects. Worth noting here, Gibson did not search the kitchen the day Eric died. The defense said on day 1 that 2 Moscow Mules Corey and Eric drank were left sitting in the sink, and the nanny put them in the dishwasher the next day. What Gibson did find was a set of tweezers and a small piece of plastic.
It's a pair of tweezers that was located inside of a jacket pocket that was laying on the kitchen counter. It was a woman's fitted black, medium-size Under Armour jacket.
Not much was established during Gibson's testimony today. The judge says we'll pick things back up tomorrow morning at 8:30. In Summit County, Shelby Lofton, KSL 5 News.
KSL News Time, 6:19. Traffic and weather together. An emergency report were brought to you by UCCU. Direct deposit gets you $300. Love where you bank. Here's Ricky Meese.
This crash just won't seem to ease up. So it's an injury accident northbound I-15 at 146 South. We still have a couple of left lanes blocked to traffic. Emergency crews have not left the scene, so there may be some serious injuries with this one. And with those left lanes blocked, it is still causing stop-and-go delays back to 2100 North in Lehigh. If you're past that, you'll see good speeds with just a few spots of busier traffic going through Sandy and again 2100 South to the downtown exit. Southbound I-15 still seeing improvements. What's left is a little bit of bogged down traffic at the South Interchange to Midvale at 7200 South and again in Draper to Bluffdale starting at 123rd South. We are looking at a good drive on all your major roadways in Davis and Weber counties. A crash in Taylorsville, 4700 South at Redwood Road. Eric?
Good developments on the 215 West Belt. A couple of problem spots now cleared up, almost all cleared up. Southbound 215 approaching the 700 North exit had a crash that was really bottling things up for a while. There's a couple cars still left up against the left barrier, but no delays. And the transition ramp from westbound I-80 to go south on 215, that's also looking good. In Utah County, just a little bit of reduction of speed southbound going through Linden, heading down to 1600 North in Orem. Common Spirit, hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advanced healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with Human Kindness is here. Hello, Human Kindness. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast starts off very mild. Today's temperature's been in the low 60s. We'll go to the upper 50s on Thursday under partly cloudy skies and then back to the 60s for Friday, Saturday. Temperatures in southern Utah will be pushing 80 degrees by the weekend with sunshine. It looks very warm. The next storm will come into northern Utah Sunday into Monday. Valley rain and mountain snow. Temperatures stay mild in the upper 50s. From the KSO Weather Center, I'm Kevin Eubank.
We're at 57 degrees, unseasonably warm in Salt Lake City. Your 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News. Only on KSL News Radio.
Darling, you got to let me know. Should I stay or should I go? If you say that you are mine, I'll be here till the end of time. So you got to let me know. Should I stay or should I go?
Are you considering GLP-1 injections for weight loss? Before you start, ask yourself this. Are you prepared to spend $3,000 to $5,000 per year and stay on the medication long-term to maintain the results? Many prescription weight loss injections require weekly shots, and when the medication is stopped, weight regain is common. Research shows a significant portion of weight lost can come from muscle, which may slow your metabolism and make keeping the weight off even harder. At SLC Fat Loss, they take a different approach. Their doctor-developed program helps men and women lose 20 to 40 pounds in just 60 days safely and naturally. No injections, no synthetic hormones, no long-term dependence. They use real food to reset your metabolism, control hunger and cravings naturally, and help your body burn fat, not muscle. Right now, you can schedule a free 15-minute phone consultation to see if the program is right for you. Go to slcfatloss.com. That's slcfatloss.com. Results may vary.
Since 1947, Whipple Service Champions has been Utah's most trusted name for heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical services. Got a high-priced repair bill from another company and you're just not sure about it? Call Whipple. Get a free, no-pressure estimate or bring us their quote for an honest second opinion. Totally free. Whipple Service Champions, Utah's first place for second opinions since 1947. Call 385-273-7167 for your free estimate today. 385-273-7167.
Hello, this is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. Take the first step. Visit CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com.
Hi, Grandma. Can Nina come over for dinner? Sure. I've been meaning to ask you, what would happen if someone offered you a drink? Grandma! If anyone ever does, I want you to say, no, I have too much respect for my family and I don't want to get in trouble. I promise, Grandma.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. That's underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. This message brought to you by SAMHSA and this station.
We're watching Utah's Money. This was the big one. NVIDIA released its earnings report this afternoon, and they did not disappoint. The chip maker blew past earnings and revenue expectations. Revenue up 73%. NVIDIA stock was up in after-hours trading, and we're likely going to see a positive effect on the market tomorrow morning. Panera keeps trying to launch comebacks after sales fell 5% last year, the latest attempt. Hopping on the value bandwagon with deals that put the price of some menu items at around $5. Venture capitalist A.J. Scaramucci apparently has money to burn. The 33-year-old just dropped $16 million on a Pokemon trading card. I mean, a rare card, obviously, the purchase of which he justifies saying that for him, it's a more meaningful investment than buying a Picasso. On Wall Street today, the Dow was up 308 points, closing at 49,482. The S&P picked up 56 points, and the Nasdaq jumped 288.
This is Andy Farnsworth with One Kind Act a Day's Minute of Kindness, brought to you by the Semnani Family Foundation. After being missing for roughly a month, August Beckwith made it home safe. Right after he went missing, his mother, Lori Beckwith, posted hundreds of flyers. Many others showed kindness and compassion, joining her to hang the flyers and to search for August. Lori expressed that those experiencing homelessness were the ones who helped the most, saying, quote, some of the most profound generosity came from those with the least to give. Lori says that the kindness, empathy, and support that she was shown will remain with her for the rest of her life. Being kind is something that can cost very little, but can reveal the beauty in humanity and life. How can you spread the love of kindness? Find out more at thepowerofkind.org. That's thepowerofkind.org.
The Management Minute is a service of the MBA program and the Shingo Institute at Utah State University. I'm Professor Scott Hammond. This generation will experience more job turbulence than any generation previously. A recent study suggested that this generation may change jobs 10 to 15 times. Education can be a buffer to job turbulence, but it must be continuous. Just having a college degree helps, but formal and informal continuous learning will help you survive. Learn a new software, get a new certificate or master's degree. Be flexible, work at home, be willing to travel. Keeping your job involves looking over the horizon and seeing the needs of your company before they do. It does not require a crystal ball, just some analytic tools. An MBA can give you some of those tools and can help you see how to adapt to your company's needs and how to move on to the next opportunity when the time comes. Learn more about strategic career management with an MBA from Utah State University. Go to utahstatemba.com. I'm Scott Hammond. Hope to see you in one of our classes.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. Beware of telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you. Callers threatening you with arrest or other legal action and demanding money are not from us. If you receive a call like this, hang up, do not provide them with any form of payment or information. Report the call at oig.ssa.gov.
Emergency traffic brought to you by UCCU. Direct deposit gets you $300. Love where you bank. Here's Ricky Meese.
Still a rough ride on northbound I-15 due to a crash at 146 South. Left lanes are still blocked, and that means we still have heavy delays. Slow and go and stop and go speeds back to SR 92 Temp Highway, and slowing on the southbound side of I-15 at the South Interchange to Midvale at 7200 South. Eric?
I'm looking for alternates. Again, Salt Lake County from Utah County. Try Redwood Road, not bad. 2100 north, heading up into Bluffdale Mountain View Corridor. That's also an option if you're heading out towards the west side. We got some slowing in downtown on 300 West. You got the Mammoth playing in about 30 minutes, and typically people are looking for parking spots right now, but also look out for pedestrians. Northbound is slower than the southbound side going by the Delta Center. I'm Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Well, our storm delivered. Valleys picked up a ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch of rain, in the mountains anywhere from 6 to 10 inches of snow. Tonight, partly cloudy skies with a low of 39, upper 50s and partly cloudy on Thursday. Low 60s return for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll get a 30% chance of some rain on Sunday, and then another chance for valley rain into Monday. From the KSO Weather Center, I'm Kevin Eubank.
Good evening, 6:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Jeff Caplan. Our top local story this hour. The same council that voted to close a bunch of daycare centers in Salt Lake County is now encouraging private businesses to take them over.
The council chair says the idea is to lease the buildings to private daycare companies or nonprofit organizations.
We think this is a win-win. It's a win for taxpayers who won't be the ones paying for it. It's a win for getting more child care spaces out there.
Amy Winter-Newton tells Inside Sources they would encourage these providers to prioritize low-income families.
I think it's a disservice for the council chair to come in and act like the only people who are struggling right now, the only people who need assistance right now are the lower income populations.
Jefferson Curtis with Utah Works for Families also disagrees with shifting the burden of paying for daycare to the families, saying it should be provided by the government. Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story this hour. Cuba says its military killed 4 people on an American speedboat after they allegedly approached the Cuban shore and began shooting its soldiers. That's what the Cubans say. Here's News Nation's Kelly Meyer.
We're hearing more reaction on X, including from the Florida Attorney General, saying this, quote, "I've directed the Office of Statewide Prosecution to work with our federal, state, and law enforcement partners to begin an investigation. The Cuban government cannot be trusted, and we will do everything in our power to hold these communists accountable." We also are hearing from Republican Florida Congressman Carlos Gimenez saying he is also calling for an immediate investigation. He also says he has requested additional details from the State Department as well as the U.S. military.
Cuba also says the boat was registered in Florida. KSL News Time, 6:32. Coming up, a look at the forecast, how warm it's going to be tomorrow, and for that matter, over the weekend. Stay with us. It's coming up next.
Grand Staircase Escalante is under attack.
Utah politicians are hastily racing to dismantle protections for this special place, one of America's most treasured national monuments and an important part of southern Utah's economy.
An overwhelming majority of Utahns support protecting the Grand Staircase for future generations.
Yet our voices are being ignored by those meant to represent us. Now's the moment to speak up. Learn more about this attack and what could permanently be lost at suwa.org.
Paid for by Southern Utah Wilderness Alliance.
KSL offers the best daily newsletter in the state. It's the 3 things you need to know. Every weekday, we deliver quality and relevant content to your inbox. No ads, no spam, just the 3 things you need to know to be informed about the world around you. Subscribe today. Visit KSLNewsRadio.com or text the word inbox to 57500. That's inbox to 57500.
Emergency traffic now brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.44% on savings at UCCU.com. Ricky?
We are still dealing with this crash going from Bluffdale to Draper, northbound on I-15 at 146 South. With this crash still blocking multiple left lanes of travel, we have stop-and-go delays back to SR 92 Temp Highway in Lehigh. Once you get past that, it's still a little busy in spots between 2100 South and downtown. For the southbound drive of I-15, heavy at the south interchange to 7200 South Midvale, but otherwise clearing out. Eric?
All better now on the 215 westbound, just one emergency vehicle remaining where we had a crash just before 700 North. So you got good progress from the Legacy Merge heading down towards I-80. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
The KSL forecast, skies clear tonight. We're headed down to 35. Then tomorrow, partial sunshine. A little bit cooler. It's going to be 54 degrees. Friday, we bounce back to 60 with sunshine. Clouds roll in ahead of a storm on Saturday, cloudy and 62 degrees. Right now in Salt Lake City, it's 57. I'm Jeff Caplan from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at KSLNewsRadio.com. This is Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's time, Cougar Nation. Cougar Tracks. The best season analysis with BYU insider Mitch Harper on KSL News Radio and on video every day on the YouTube page for KSL Sports.
Welcome into Cougar Tracks here on the KSL Sports YouTube and KSL News Radio, your legacy home of the Cougars. It's Wednesday, February 25th. The sun did come up, Cougar fans. Even though last night felt like a nightmare for BYU basketball, I think better days could be ahead, but